We're just gonna be here now. We're gonna go ahead and get everything started because guess what? I spent a stupid amount of time doing this makeup look and I didn't want it to go to waste. Hi, it's me, Audra. I keep weird hours and I'm going to continue to do so. Also, let me just be super real with you in that I haven't been sleeping well because I've been sick. So, since I spent all this time on this makeup look, I thought I would react to a video. Now, hopefully, Nick Snyder does not come at me for uh, copyright or whatever. Hey, girly girl. But I wanted to react to this because that's who I am as a person. It's good to see I'm not the only one keeping these weird ass hours. Listen, I spent all this time. Wait, I feel like there's like a very intense filter on this, and I don't. Let me see if I can figure out how to fix it because I feel like it's very intense. And I'm like, that is a lot. And I think I took it off. Let's hope. Do I look more normal or do I who cares? Okay, never mind. I'm like, it is what it is. So y'all, I was recommended to react to this video that Nick Snyder put out called This Brand Owner is Trying to Ruin My Life. And we're gonna comment on it. I'm going to because I'm awake. I'm still sick. Um, sorry. But hey Toya. And I can't do anything about it. I'm gonna have some wine. I every time I like think that I'm feeling better, I am feeling better. You know how that stage of sick where you like get better, and but you have to keep sleeping like at random points throughout the day, just for like 4 to 5 hours straight, and then you wake up in absolute confusion, and you're just like, "What's even happening?" Thank you. But like, I was like, "All right, well." I did this, by the way, High Deep Skin Loves. I used one of these Lethal Cosmetics. Yes, I get PR from them, but that's not why I'm talking about them. I'm talking about them because I used it for the look. I used their one of their waterliners and it was in white, and I used that as my base so that the blues would be like more vibrant. So if that's something you're interested in, I don't think that I have a code. I maybe used to. I don't know. Who cares? The point is, I wanted to react to this video. Now, because there's going to be somebody, if I leave this video up, somebody will come and be like, "You have a bias." Of course I do. Everybody does. Let me just first start by saying I do have a bias against the brand owner that Nick is going to be speaking about. And the reason I have said bias is because I have always thought that they're a bit messy, number one. And I think that they get into a lot of trouble. I've found them sus ever since I started noticing, like way back in the day. This is at least 3 years ago, like when I first started having a little beauty come up, which has since died, but moving on. But I thought it was weird that she would be in chat, like in a live stream chat in creators, like small beauty creators, live streams. I thought it was weird. I always found it strange. My personal opinion. So I always find it sus to me whenever brand owners are in a beauty creators live chat. And by in there, I don't mean watching it because obviously everybody's free to watch. I think it's weird when you comment. So sorry if you can hear all my like snot noises. I there's nothing I can do. Okay. I'm like, I am still getting over the sickness. So I'm not into it. I think that that shit is weird. My opinion, right? It doesn't have to be everybody's opinion, but it's definitely mine. And so I had that issue at that point in time. Okay. Okay. So to get deeper into the muck, um, whatever your opinion is on Nick Snyder or Dustin Daly or Paige Christie, I am neither here to make you like them or dislike them. I don't have any personal affiliation with any of them. I did want to say that as well, because again, I'm not trying to get cut. I'm not trying to have anybody come after me. But I like Paige's videos. I think that they're very well researched, and that if there's one thing you're not gonna like outdo Paige Christie on, my opinion is research. I think that whatever she said in the past, or however people feel about it, you can feel about it. I'm not here to change your mind. And again, I don't know Nick Snyder personally. I think, like, maybe once a very long time ago, he may have sent me a DM saying, like, "Happy birthday." So, that's that's what I'll say there. Like, that that's the that's the maximum amount of Nick Snyder that I know. And then I don't know Dustin Dailey at all. So those are my disclosures of affiliation with these folks. Um, if anybody talks about Peter Mon, because I know that they had like a situation, like all of them, I am friendly with Peter through Twitter DMs. I honestly, let me be real, I can't get back onto my Twitter right now because I switched phones, and I'm gonna have to figure that situation out at some point, but I don't know how to get back into my Twitter. So I have DM'd back and forth with Peter Mon. I have done some reacts to his channels or to his videos, and he has shouted me out a couple of times, which I greatly appreciate. So that is, I feel like, all the disclosure that I need to have. Listen, very sus. The most beautiful sick person. I look like you don't understand. 2 days ago, which was, I guess, was that Saturday? What is today? Is today Monday? It is. We're gonna say it is. Saturday, even with makeup on, I looked like one of the creatures from The Walking Dead. Not necessarily like the regular new zombies, like the old zombies, like the old been dead for a while and like stuff is starting to like the skin's starting to slide off zombies. I was one of those. And I feel like it is because I was sick that I did call the AT&T man, Big Daddy. That was a moment, and I am still trying to figure out how I'm gonna go to that AT&T store ever again. So, we're going to attempt to react to this. I have downloaded the video, and I hope that makes it let me pause. I hope that makes it easier for my poor computer that, like, just with everything it's got is always, like, crying bloody murder, because it's just like, we can't we can't do these things. It's just it's always panicking. Let's see. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna choose a layout for this. Not that one. That's a lot. Let's try that. Let's try that layout. I feel like that's better, but let's see if I can kinda make that bigger? No, we're gonna can I do that? Nope. Nope, don't like that either. We're gonna try this for now, and let me know if you can hear, because let me just, bop this all the way up to its full potential, and here we go. Nick, I am not stealing your video, and if you think that I am, I will not keep this up, it's fine. I'm like, "It is fine. It's perfectly acceptable." He's in a hoodie, so this is some serious shit. I can't say anything because I wear a hoodie, like, I'm wearing a hoodie right now. I wear a hoodie 99% of the time. I like my house to be cold, um, so that I can wear hoodies. My mom got me just a Christmas present, the Overlook Hotel sweat, hoodie, so, um, my mother knows me. Actually, I sent her what I wanted because that's easier. Hi, Beppy. Ooh, thank you for the love on the mic. It was very cheap. I will link it below. It'll be my one of my Amazon links. It's an affiliate link. I do earn a commission on that. If you click it and you choose to buy something using it, I have an Amazon storefront that I never promote because, like, who wants the shit that I have? So moving on. I buy a lot of random shit. Who cares? All right. Can y'all hear it? So let me know if you can hear it. You can't hear. Okay, hold please. Settings, audio. Which one does it want me to use? Let me Can you hear that? Jesus. Okay, let's try now. How about now? Let me know if it's still no, because the only other thing I know how to do is to tell it to play through the thing. Oh, Jesus. All right, here we go. We're going to start anew. I know what it wants me to do. I don't like doing it, but here we go. I'm sweating already because obviously, whenever I start messing shit up, I get like mad sweaty. See, this is what I told y'all when I was talking about Marlena Sell and how like live streams are hard as shit. Like, I understand why she was sweating like this because it really does. Like, you know, the audio is always the problem. All right, let's try that. Girl, I don't know why you be screaming the "Let's Test" song. Hold on. Let's try now. Okay. Still no? Then I do have to use the one I don't wanna use. Okay. I'm very unhappy and unexcited about this, but we're gonna do it. Alright. Oh, nope. I hit the wrong button. Why would you act like that? Rude. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go now. 1, everything's wrong with me. 2, everything's wrong with me. 3, everything's wrong with me. 4, everything's wrong with me. I'm sorry. Listen, I have multiple problems. All right. What I should have done but didn't do is a whole other situation. But um let me see why. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try it now. It's gonna irritate me for a second, but let's go. Wait, I'm wondering, it's so weird that it does this because I totally just changed it to the one it wants. What? Oh, you know what? Hold on. Ja, ja, ja. Ja, ja, ja. Ja, ja, ja. Hold on. Girl, stop singing like that. Okay. I love how the first like minutes is the first like 30 minutes is just me being like, I don't know what I'm doing because I switch back to StreamYard for reasons because it's usually easier for me to share a video. All right, hold on. Well, maybe I just figured it out. Hold on. It may well be. Hold on. It may be something so dumb and it's really going to irritate me that I never thought of this before. It's like, are you stupid, Audra? No, I'm not stupid. I'm very smart. Sometimes I just make mistakes in my life. Y'all, I made a short today for, like, no reason, and it did well-ish. Okay, let me see if it's based on what screen that I am sharing. I'm so curious. Oh, hold on. Okay. Wild. Okay, hold on. Let me, remove that kitty cat. Boop. Let me try this. Stop that. Then let me do this. Because I swear oh, no, 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 we don't want all of that. Okay. Why does the tab not have any audio? And why it was like there, right? Okay. But when I click it there, it's like, no. So then if I okay. Like to share audio, share a tab. Oh, share a tab or a screen instead. That's the problemo. So, okay, wait. Let's see if I'm doing it. Let me know.
So before we get into this video, I wanted to come on here and ask everyone to please not send hate to anybody involved in this video, and please do not send any hate to any brand involved in this video. This video is nothing more than myself clearing my name, number one, because what you guys don't know is there has been a lot of accusations that have been thrown around behind the scenes by the person that we used to be friends
Yes!
with. A lot of channels have been contacted, including Peter Mon as well as Rich Lux, but I will get into that more later in this video. There's actually something as I was looking through my screenshots to discuss everything that I forgot to mention in this video, and that's the fact that on August 28th of 2023, I received a text message from my mom's best friend, and she said that my mom's dog had passed over the Rainbow Bridge. You guys know that my mom passed away from COVID in 2020.
Okay, just a quick note that I did not intentionally match hoodies with Nick. You know, if I if I could just be patient and read instructions, like my feet are sweating from that because I was like, I know I can make this work and I can. I just have to be calm and read instructions. But also just again, I'm not matching like color scheme on purpose. I just was really excited. So let's go.
21. So before she went into the hospital, she called up her friend and said, "Hey, can you please look after my dog?" And I guess that when she was in the hospital and she thought that something was going to happen to her, she asked her, like, "Can you please look after him after I pass away?" Well, when I received the message on August 28th from my mom's friend, I texted her back immediately and said, like, "Can you
Ooh,
please get
let me try uno más tiempo on the sharing of audio because I'm afraid you're gonna get double. Hold on. I'm gonna try to fly really close to the sun. We're gonna see. Okay. We're gonna fly too close to the sun and it's gonna be okay, hopefully. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see if this still works.
him cremated? I will pay for it. Can you ship him to me, please? Because I really want to put some of his ashes with my mom's ashes." And this had been something that
Thumbs
I had
up.
planned to do ever since my mom passed away, because that was honestly like my mom's best friend. She took that dog everywhere with her. She loved that dog. I let my ex-friend know at that time, like, "Hey, I just received a text message from my mom's friend, and she said that her dog passed away and he crossed over the Rainbow Bridge, and I asked her to cremate him and that she was going to ship him to me." Well, on September 20th, after Dustin and I left the house, my mom's dog's ashes were delivered
Yes.
to the mailbox. Our ex-friend had
Oh,
already known verbally, but also over text message, these ashes were going to be
no.
coming. He
Damn it.
actually shipped us a big box of mail as well as these Google Homes that she
Son of a biscuit. It was like to share audio. Wait. Oh my God. What's happening? I swear the two things are moving at different speeds. I have two chats up and I can't tell. Since I had like the yes, we have sound, and then I looked over there and said no sound. So we're still good, right? Because like I'm hitting play again.
asked us to leave. I can only imagine she was asking us to leave them because she would get some kind of like video evidence off of it. Well, in this box, you guys will be surprised to know that the dog's ashes were not in there. And I asked the employee, I said, hey, has she said anything about the ashes to you? Is she going to give them to you? Like, what is going on? And the employee said that they haven't heard anything about them. So it is now December. What day is it? December 20th, literally December 20th, and I still have not received the ashes of my mom's dog. I don't care what you think about me, if you hate me. The fact that you are going to hold on or probably throw away, let's be completely honest, they're probably at the bottom of a landfill right now. The fact that you would do something to a pet's ashes, especially after the fact that my mom's 2 cats passed away in the house fire that happened in August of 2022, it's despicable. And in my opinion, you are the low of the low, bottom of the barrel. I literally have to lose my mom's cats in a house fire, the last living thing that I had of my mom's. I had to lose them, and now you're going to do something to the ashes of my mom's dog that I was going to place with her ashes. Let's just get into the video.
So you live with, for people who don't know, Dustin Daly and Nick Schneider.
Wait a minute. That was a lot of an intro. Like, y'all. That was a lot. I was like, wait, what? So, just in case, quick recap. Nick had 3 pets. They all belonged to his late mother. And they have all passed. He lost the cats in a fire in the house of this brand owner. And now, listen, Feffy, I am struggling. I'm like, wait, wait. I'm slow sometimes, and I've been struggling to get all of this to work. So like my normal giddy up and go is not giddy up and going. Okay. All right. So this is a 2-hour long video. Okay. So first of all, we're probably not going to finish all this tonight. Should I put it on dose time speed? Yes. I've seen people do this. I don't know if I can do 2 though, because I feel like 2 is excessive. I think I'm going to do 1.5 times speed and see if that is successful. All right, let's go. Also, hello, Goth Chops. How are you doing?
Schneider. Correct. So Nick's mom passed in 2021, and he was really having a hard time. After they sold her house, they had come for Thanksgiving. I cooked them Thanksgiving dinner. They liked Texas, and I was like, if you guys are gonna move here, just come stay here until you buy a place or figure it out.
Yeah.
But one good thing that emerged from this drama is that so many people burned by Nick Snyder. Dusty and Paige came together. Project Shading It will debut soon. It will be an amazingly well documented on the media presence about his lies, misdeeds, cover-ups, backstab, wife or invite.
Friend, it's your boyfriend. Your boyfriend's reaching out to drama channels. Who does that? I would understand Nick and Dustin reaching out because all their friends are drama channels, but your boyfriend that you told me was a CEO, that you told me was wearing an ankle bracelet. And I know you're not going to allow that man to call you a liar, because him saying that you never told me that is calling you a liar.
She continues to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and won't let it go because she's hoping that in the end she wins. You can't be on YouTube anymore. And that's the only reason why she continues.
And I'm just saying, guys, she called the boys moochers, and that's one thing the boys
We're not. The boys were not.
So much for her.
If anything, guys, they got her like where she's probably at right now. Like if it
Passing
wasn't
her
for
stuff, like helping her out.
Now, show of hands. Who here was on Twitter when this thing erupted? And who also saw them in the BGC Reddit thread? Like, ba. If the vid has music, speeding it up might mess with ear sensory things. No speed up or yes speed up? Who was here? Because I was here. Listen. So I know people are like, aren't you a commentary channel? I'm a whatever I want to fucking do channel, okay? But here's the thing. When this all popped off on Twitter, as far as I was concerned, this was beef between friends. And one of the things I don't do, or I try not to do, is like really get into like friend beef, because it's none of my business. Like even if you're arguing like publicly, it's none of my business. I don't really want to talk about it because like to me, like y'all just need to work all that out. It's none of our business. Like we're just here. You know what I mean? I look at it as like when you're at a restaurant and like the table like around you, like next to you, behind you is arguing and you're like listening, but you're not going to intervene. They're just arguing. You just want to hear all the shit. And she's like, and you also cheated on me, nigga. And you're like, oh, damn, girl. You know what I mean? So you're like listening. And that's how I felt like was happening when this started happening on Twitter. I was like, that's This is none of my business, but I'm paying close attention to it. Then it showed up on Reddit. And for those of you who do not know, like beauty guru chatter, I know people hate it, like whatever. I like I have a love-hate relationship with it because I love it because there's like always new information on there. I hate it because like some of the shit is just ridiculous. Like it's just weird to me, but I also get that I'm not supposed to be there, so I don't really care if it's weird. So there was a whole thread where people were talking about this mess blowing up on Twitter. Okay. And then the thing that really got wild to me, in my opinion, was that Jen, the brand owner, I don't know if he says her name. So this brand owner was like in the Reddit thread defending herself. Now, here's the thing. I don't think anybody should have been in the Reddit thread because that's wild. Like, get it together, please. But like, then they were all arguing back and forth in Reddit thread. And I was like, holy shit. And I'm just over here, eating my popcorn, having some snacks, an ice cream cone, glass of wine. I'm enjoying myself because I know that it's terrible, but the nosy bitch in me, like, I like to see everybody else's problems. All right. I get it. I know that it's not healthy, but also sometimes it's self care. Say what you will. So I was like looking and I was like, it's still not my business because this is just beef between friends. Like it's blowing up or whatever. But to me, I was like, this beef between friends. And I was like, gonna mind my business. But then all the smoke started to blow. So we gonna get further into this. Here's my guy, Peter. I love Peter, y'all. I'm so sorry. I love Peter. Not like sorry that I love him, but like if you don't like Peter, like you don't have to. But I love Peter. Before I unsubscribed from like every drama commentary channel back in the day because of how I behaved with the whole Tati like situation, because I felt like it was like not good for my spirit at the time. And yeah, it really wasn't at that time because I was a very lonely person at the time. It was just like allowing the shit to take over my life. So, anyways, now I'm back in Peter. I love Peter. Like that sounded weird, but like I love like how he's standing up for himself now. So let's get back into it. So
makes me very, very sad for all of them, in all honesty. But it makes me sad for her specifically because I think she has some really, really dear friends that really care a lot about her.
Ginger Ad's boyfriend is not happy and he is suing. He sent me an email with a cease and desist letter, receipts, I guess you could say, screenshots, and more.
My last conversation with you, Jen, I tried to talk to you. I was trying to talk to you. I was trying to have a conversation with you, and you kept trying to tell me that you smelled like meth in the room and this and that. And I was just wanting to talk to my friend.
Her whole goal is to make it so that you can't earn a living online anymore. That's her whole goal. He'll be lucky if you'll ever be able to show his face on YouTube again. That's what she goes. That's what she wants.
We were way past that. You got on tried to stay online.
She was right there. She would have her phone on speakerphone. And I remember saying, I don't want you alone, man. What if they drug you?
what?
You guys, it's been a night. Seriously, Dustin Daly saved my life. I'm not going to try to get emotional up here, but he takes a lot of crap. He's a pretty
Wait
good
a minute.
guy.
Hold up, y'all. Like, wait.
Honestly, we literally lost.
I feel like I'm watching Forensic Files for real. I'm so sorry. Like, I literally feel like I'm watching Forensic Files. Please don't get mad at me. You know, it comes on. Listen. Like, I know it's not funny, but I do feel like because I watched Forensic Files for a long time to sleep. This just felt like Forensic Files for a second. It really was. It was like, wow. I know selected gossip from you, and I think that's the best way to know. Listen, I love third-party gossip, okay? It's one of the reasons why I do enjoy react videos. I know some people will be like, oh, that's lazy content. You're free to feel about it how you will. I love second to third hand gossip. I don't like to break any story because I find that mad stressful. One, I don't have time. Two, and I just don't like the idea that I would have the details wrong and then have to come back and make a correction. That shit is mad stressful. So, and I bet, like, listen, if this was my job, like if I did this full time, I would happily break stories and like talk about like all the stuff and do like less reacts. But like, listen, Nick has come. Oh, wait, I hate to mention this because I don't wait, hold on. I hate to mention this because I don't want to be mean, but Jen Gerard's highlight was way too intense on the sesh. Peter is adorable. Listen, we're going to try not to like send any hate, we can comment slightly on things like that. I don't like to like because like listen, this look isn't for everybody. There's going to be a lot of people who are like, black people shouldn't wear blue, but I'm going to explain to you why I'm wearing blue anyway. Because when I was young, Black Barbie only wore blue eyeshadow. And it looked terrible on her because they didn't make sure that it looked good. It was like too much in a not good way. Like, you know how Barbie had her blue and her pinks, and it was like kind of complementary to her skin. But they ended up making Black Barbie look like a drag queen, which fine if she's a drag queen. But if she's not a drag queen, bit insulting. So now, because I used to absolutely hate blue eyeshadow, I wear it. There we go. A light roast. Thank you, work in progress, of which we are all one. Yeah, I don't want to be involved in drama. I just want to like know what's happening and I want to talk about it. I want to see it with other people who want to see it. Let's go. We're at 1.5 speed, whatever. Okay. This is 2 hours. So here we go.
Everything.
It really hurt me to see that these are two people that you guys all love each other, and you were trying to convince me that Nick does meth. Like, I would never tell anybody that. Everything that we have talked about has stayed between you and I. I pulled away because I feel like that's just the best thing for me right now.
Alongside that, I also asked if the photograph of my passed away auntie would also be removed from promotional material on their websites, as well as websites like Amazon and wherever else it is that they are choosing to distribute the product. This was not my request. This was my mother's request.
September 23rd, 2023, 12:48 p.m. Termination of relationship. I'm writing to request to have my images removed from the Gerard Cosmetics website as well as any promotional materials. I would also like to have my affiliate code Dustin discontinued. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Dustin, if you wanted your images taken off the website, all you had to do was ask. Without being asked, I did remove your side-by-side images yesterday or the day before and asked Taylor to make new graphics removing the photos from the banners. Now that someone has sent me your tweet, I reached out to her and found out that she has not changed them yet. I hid the images for the time being since this is upsetting to you. Since you also made it clear where you stand, I deleted your discount codes. Since I'm being accused of doing everything wrong, I didn't want it said that I wouldn't allow you to make money to pay me back, and I did not turn them off until about 15 minutes ago. Once again, all you had to do was ask.
I love that
I have a
clip.
really hard time understanding why my photos are still here. This photo on the right, you can see it's clearly my yellow hair, and this was a picture that I took when I lived in Lake Mary, Florida, with Nick when we were handling his mom's business. In the
Wait,
States.
so he's gotten wait.
This is still here.
Dustin had come and gotten us. We wouldn't have made it. You know, it's like one thing after another, but it's
Hold on. So Dustin is also on that website? Y'all, jeez. Oh my God. Oh my God. There's so much happening. Okay. Listen. I don't want to say that I'm excited for this because there's terrible things happening. And I understand that that can make me like a horrible human being. But I have been sick and I have been like in the trenches of being a USPS postal worker delivering packages. Like since Black Friday, my life has been a living hell. And I'm sorry that I am excited by this. Please don't like take this as like I'm an uncaring, unfeeling monster. But also I kind of needed this in my life. Working 13-hour days, working 12-hour days, delivering heavy shit, like getting sick at the end of this bitch. Like this has been a long time coming. And I just like it's it's listen, like when Marlena Sell did her thing, I was like, I have been waiting for I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord. Because I was like, I have been her number one hater. Number two now, because I feel like somebody else. And now, I said this before, and now I think that video is no longer available for like it's patrons and channel members. But anyway, the point is, I have been behind the scenes saying for at least 3 years that I find this person sus. I find Jen Gerard sus. So like it's kind of nice to be vindicated. Also, side note, anybody who's like, who has this idea like, oh, these three people suck, like blah, 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 blah. I am going to say this. And like, of course, they would hang out. Friends are going to hang out with friends. And so I'm not going to entertain like, oh, they're like the whole ganging up situation. I don't like that because like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like I have friends in chat. I have, if something happened to me, I promise you, all of my friends would also be on my side. So, like, this isn't me endorsing them. This is me just saying, before you're like, of course, these people like da 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 da. I'm going to say, if you have a friend group, you're all gonna be on the same side, especially if you're in the right. So I'm gonna just say that before, like, because the haters come and they're like, regardless of how you feel about somebody, if they're giving the information, they're giving the information. Let's go.
You got to keep your sense of humor about stuff.
Yeah.
What it is.
Well, I'm sure that's really bonded the three of you.
Jennifer knows this. So I already know how Jennifer is. After this, she's gonna, oh, they're all lying on me. Everybody's not lying on Jennifer.
But let me tell you something while I have you on the phone. You know what triggered me the most? Was the night that you kept saying you wanted to hurt yourself. You told me you were feeling like you wanted to kill yourself, and you told Paige that. And then the next day, you told me you just said that to get the heat off of you. That hurt me so bad because I've been to that place.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about something that honestly myself, Dustin, and a few other people have tried to keep offline for as long as possible. You might have noticed that in September, there was like a major falling out between myself, Dustin, a few other people, and our ex-friend Jen Gerard. It's the only time I'm going to say her name in this video because honestly, it's what she wants. She's been trying to like push behind the scenes. Gonna get into that in a minute, but she's been trying to push behind the scenes so that we will come out and we will make videos. Now, this went down in September. We're in December. This could have been aired out back in October if we really wanted to come online and drag an ex-friendship. That's not what this.
Listen, I don't know why she would want people to make videos. Girl, your brand has been dry for a long time. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying this to be like truthful, okay? Because they like I feel like they reached out to me to join their affiliate program. And like I started doing it, and then it was just like too much work. Listen, I'm an ADHD babe, okay? If you want me to be in your affiliate program, and if I say okay, all I need you to do is give me a link or a code and let me live my life. Too many of these brands are like, join our Facebook group and do this. I'm like, no, babes, I can't. I work for a living. Like my living is doing a whole other job. Like this is work as well. But I'm like, no, I have a whole 9 to 5. I cannot fill out your fucking forms and all this bullshit. Like, please stop. Like, I'm happy to, if you reach out to me and go, hey, do you want to be an affiliate? And I go, yeah, then you just need to give me my link and like my code and let me live my life. I don't want to do anything extra after that. Like I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm literally just like, most of us have 9 to 5 jobs outside of this job. Please do not make me do extra, bitch. Like I can't. But like her like dusty ass brand has been dusty for a long time. I'm not saying, again, it's the same thing I said about Marlena. Like this shit's been dusty. She has a couple nice lipsticks. I think the eye base is awesome. Everything else is just basic shit. Like the packaging really needs an upgrade. I will say that. Like the packaging needs an upgrade to like be where we are today. I don't think that, like, I think I had like a highlight bronzer duo thing. It was okay. Like it wasn't good enough for me to keep. I've since gotten rid of it. However y'all want to take that, because I know people like to hear that when people declutter things that they like donated it, and I didn't, because you can't donate used makeup. I'm so sorry. I know people like to think that that's true. You can't donate used makeup, not even lightly used, because we have had a whole pandemic, a whole plague take place. And back in the olden days, they would kind of, and even then it was sus. And most places just do not take, like if you touched it, if you opened it, they're like, no. Also, I tend to have this kind of makeup, like really colorful eyeshadow palettes. There's not a lot of places that really want that. So anyways, I feel like I'm getting vindicated, and like I'm sad that it's happening on the backs of awful shit. You know, it's really messed up that Jen also have another guy that has the same product for less and have the pictures of Pages on a site, but with her actual face showing. But they took it down. Angie, they took it down because Paige has that.
is at all. In my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion as well, this person is behind the scenes trying to push myself, Dustin, Paige, and a few other people to make videos so that they can try to accuse us of being the reason that their brand is actually failing. I'm here to let you guys know that that is not true at all. This person has literally told myself, Dustin, literally anyone that she has come into contact with since at least 2018, because that's when I met her, she has not paid herself a salary in years. And just typing in paid myself salary into my iMessage, one comes up from 1/25/2021 where she's talking about a house that she was going to list in 2 weeks, and she did not know if she was going to be able to buy another one because she has not paid herself a salary. The other day on my community page, as well as over on Twitter and Instagram, I posted a public apology to Jaclyn Hill, and there were some people that were underneath it that were like a little bit confused as to what I was referring to in that. Some of y'all thought that I was literally giving Jaclyn Hill a pass for anything that she's been involved in. I want to clear this up. That is not the case at all. I still think that Jaclyn Hill is an extremely shady, problematic person. I think that Jaclyn Hill is a liar, and I definitely do not stand behind anything that Jaclyn Hill stands for on social media, the internet, or in any kind of business practice ever. In my post about Jaclyn Hill, I said that there was somebody in my ear that was feeding me a lot of information about her, and I'm talking about all day, every day. You guys know that I recently discovered the Jaclyn Hill snark Reddit, and that was actually because of the person that I'm talking about in this video. It was honestly all day, every day myself, Dustin, because he was in the thread as well. We had one called Jaclyn Hill that I also put into my post, and I wanted to clarify that for everyone out there. The reason that that was actually switched to Jaclyn Hill was because of the cozy situation, because Jaclyn Hill ripped off yet another small business owner, and this business owner that I'm talking about right now thought it was the most horrible thing. So yeah, we were all in a group chat called Jaclyn Hill, and we thought it was funny because yeah, in that situation, she literally ruined someone's brand. I know you guys all know that this person has a disdain for Jaclyn Hill. Anything that has to do with Jaclyn Hill, this person knows it.
Also, just a side note, everybody, like, a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't like Nick because he's shady or whatever. And I don't like or dislike Nick. I'm neutral. What I will say about Nick, though, is all the time that I've ever watched him, he generally almost always, I'm going to say always, but I don't know for sure because I haven't been watching. So I'm going to put the almost in front of it. It's like allegedly admits to all of his shit. I'm going to say that. Like, he doesn't really mince words on the shit he does. Like, even right in here, he's talking about, like, yeah, we had a group chat called Fuck Jaclyn Hill. He didn't have to admit that. He could have just like acted. And the thing is, he admitted it and was like like saying why they had it, but not really trying to explain it away. Like, oh, we're good people. But like, he's like, yeah, we had the shit. I think that that's something that I have always admired about him, even though like just generally I try to stay away from as much. And I don't mean this against him or anybody. I just generally like, as much as I love the gossip and the drama and the tea, I also try to stay away from consuming it too much because again, otherwise I'm going to end up in that same situation where I'm like not taking care of my mental health. Yes, Jennifer, I've been so sick. Like, okay, I got better. And then like today I just kind of slept most of the day. Like my mom made breakfast. We did our presents, of which this hoodie was one. And then I just kind of went to sleep at like 10:40. And then I woke up at like 4 and I was sweaty and like confused. So we have this, it's really messed up that yeah, so we have that one. Hold on. I don't think any of them are ever truly friends. The switch up between all three of them is fucking weird. I don't think that there was ever any loyalty. How did they stand living with each other? So here's the thing. I can't pretend to know what goes through people's minds when they are like going through situations or living however they're living. I can't pretend to know that because there's multiple reasons why you think that maybe you can trust someone. I think that for whatever reason, they thought they could all trust one another and it's turned out poorly. But I will say, again, I'm biased. I have a bias against Jen. So I will say that even though people have whatever they feel about Nick and Dustin, and I have my own feelings about Nick and Dustin, I will say this. If she really thought that they were snakes or wolves, I don't lay down with wolves. I don't lay down with snakes. You know what I mean? If I like, this is the same reason why I'm like, I don't give Tati a pass. You cannot get in the bed with people that you think are nasty or rude or hateful or spiteful. You cannot get in the bed with them and think like they're not going to eat you too. So, excuse me, if her feeling overall is like, oh, these people are terrible, they did all these things, they used me, like blah 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 blah, and that was the general consensus of people who had dealt with them before, you knew this going in. So if you thought that the entire time Nick, like if you thought that going in, but you were like, no, they're not going to do it to me, then that's your fault. Like if I thought that Nick and Dustin were snakes and then I befriended them and then I was surprised if they turned, like I shouldn't be surprised if they turned on me. I shouldn't be surprised if like some shit happened to me and then they like did videos about it, like whatever. I can't be surprised because I knew that going in. And like this isn't like a thing against them. I'm saying just generally, if that is your opinion, you knew going in. Like I know going in that Nick is not somebody who's going to like lie for like as far as I've seen, doesn't lie, isn't exactly always on my side because I'm a lady, but it is what it is, right? So that being said, because like literally before I put this makeup on, I was like fully in my Jax Teller like mask moment. And I was like, what's up, Ma? But anyways, but when you think that, if you think that these people are shady or whatever, you still got into bed with them. You still got in the bed. You still hung out with them. You let them out of their cages. Listen, I don't think they all were in cages. Like it's a metaphor. But, and then we're surprised when the leopard ate your face. Like the leopards ate your face. And you can't be surprised by that. If, excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. If you thought that they were users and now you're coming out being like they've always been users, they never paid the rent, girl, you had every opportunity to get them out of your house. Like, because I'm going to tell you what, like, especially in the state of Texas, like, babes, squatters don't really have rights here in Texas. I know this because I've worked in leasing for a long time, like back in the olden days when I was youthful. Now I'm elderly. But like they literally all she had to do was call the sheriff and be like, they have not paid rent and show them proof like that. Like I live in Texas right now, and Texas is not Texas is not on the renter side, period. And my conjecture, my thought process is that she didn't kick them out because she couldn't afford to kick them out for whatever it was that they were giving her. So it is what it is. Like if you think that these people are monsters, you think that they're monsters, but also you got in bed with them. Thank you, Crystal. Like I'm having a day today. But like that's what it is. Like I think that that's okay. Let's get back in. I'm 10 minutes into a 2-hour long video. We're going to be like reacting to this video for days. I'm so sorry.
About. She has joked in the past about knowing her Jaclyn Hill trivia. This goes beyond disliking someone. You make some snarky comments about them online or in private with your friends. This person spends all day, every day pretty much while they are working out, while they are probably even sleeping. They have their like one eye open, like looking at the phone. They are on the snark Reddit commenting back to people. They have numerous accounts over there. That is the truth out of her own mouth. Numerous accounts over there so they can say mean things about Jaclyn Hill. I mean, it got to the point where she would send us text message saying that she posted our tweet or she posted our videos over on the snark Reddit, or Jaclyn Hill would be able to guess which person that was leaving a negative comment about her on the snark Reddit was her. The reason I'm even bringing this up at the beginning of the video is because immediately when there was a falling out with this brand owner, it turned into drama channels bad. Drama channels are shit. Don't believe anything that they say, which I find very comical as well as hypocritical because this person literally is a Jaclyn Hill drama channel herself. She just does not post videos, but also
let me also just say that it's really hypocritical for her to say that shit because she's in every fucking chat. Every time somebody's talking about Jaclyn Hill and her bullshit, she's in the chat. Like, I swear to y'all, there's never a chat where somebody's talking shit about Jaclyn Hill where she's not in it. Promise you. Promise you. Hi, irradiated woman. How are you doing? I've always been told you never get into trouble in Texas, period. You do not. This is not a state you fuck up in. I'm so serious. Like, this is a state where, like, if you're one of those people who like to smoke a little, drank a little, don't do that while you're driving through here. It will destroy your life. So she's always in chats, not minding her business. Period. Move on, Marlena. Like, that's what I'm telling you. For someone to say, like, and this has always been my problem with anybody who has an issue with drama channels, is I'm like, you have no problem with drama channels when you can feed them the information that you want them to have and when you are not the subject matter. But the second it falls down on you and you're the problem, all of a sudden it's like drama channels are the devil. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, because I've said for the longest time, like, listen, if it wasn't for drama channels, first of all, we wouldn't know who all is shady in this bitch. But most importantly, like, there's so much stuff that wouldn't have broken, that we wouldn't have understood, like affiliate links and proper disclosure. Like that shit that drama channels brought us. All right, let's go.
The way that I met this person, as well as Dustin met this person, and a lot of other people within the drama community, was back in 2018 when we were all having our own issues with a channel named Mango Tea. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mango Tea, but he had a huge issue with. He posted some very exposing videos that honestly I did not watch up until October, which shame on me, bad drama channel. If you want to fault me for that, I should have watched it and I should have formed my own opinion rather than just listening to this one person that was in my ear as well as in Dustin's ear about how horrible Mango Tea was. Well, Mango still has a video up on his channel where he's interviewing a lady named Letitia, and so much of what she is saying in this video is from 2018 is so spot on for what we're experiencing right now with this person. In the video, Letitia told Mango that would talk about him nonstop 24/7. She basically know what he had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but also that she was going to do anything possible so that he was not able to earn a living on social media.
I'm under attack in a different way. She's coming from my job as a YouTuber, whose job is to report.
And she told me that, just so you know, her whole goal is to make it so she can't earn a living online anymore. That's her whole goal. You'll be lucky to ever be able to show his face on YouTube again. That's what she does. That's what she wants for you. That's why she continues to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and won't let it go, because she's hoping that in the end she wins and you can't be on YouTube anymore. And that's the only reason why she continues.
And honestly, the obsession with Mango Tea is something that is still going on. The disdain for him, I'm assuming, has to be because she actually was in a lawsuit with him and she lost. But here's an example of her going out of her way to try to take a dig at somebody. When I was in LA with Dustin in 2019 and the brand owner was there as well, when we were on Hollywood Boulevard, she made sure that we walked down a little bit further than we normally would so that we could take a picture in front of the Scientology sign. Now, if you know anything about Mango Tea, then you know that he has actually had a lot of issues with Scientology, that he has like a whole channel dedicated to it. The reason that I bring the photo up is because it is the year of 2023 and the hate boner for Mango Tea is still going on. Earlier this year, when Dustin and Paige were in LA with this brand owner, she made sure once again that they went down Hollywood Boulevard just to get the same photo in front of the Scientology sign. So in this part about Mango Tea, I still don't like the dude. I can eat crow when I need to eat crow. And in this situation about the person that I'm talking about, he was completely right. And I think that everyone needs to go.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is Jen Gerard. We're only going to say her name this one time because, like he said, she probably wants everybody to make videos about it. So that her like dusty brand can be revived from the dead. But here's the thing. This is my controversial opinion. This is why I've always and continue to like generally enjoy Nick. I'm just not subscribed and I don't watch it a lot because again, I have to be careful about how much drama I consume because of just like my general like mental health, my personality characteristics. I can let this like take over too much of my life. But I have kind of always found that whether I like it or not, whether I like his opinion or his thoughts or not, they are his, and he is honest about how he feels. Like even here, he's like, I don't like Mango Tea, but he was correct here. So that's like kind of always the thing that I have enjoyed about watching him. This is a wild time. This is getting very intense. Like I'm just sitting here just like, oh my God, Jen Gerard, I need to drink some water because child, you cannot be drinking all this wine when you barely eat these days. Listen, it's postal bullshit. Sorry about the gulps. I'm a gulper. I apologize. Jen is that bitch who's still stuck in high school. I don't know. I find it very odd. I find it very weird that when all of this really started popping off, I don't like her. I'm sorry. I don't like her. I haven't liked her in a long time. If you ever pay attention to whenever I'm in a chat and she like ats me, it usually takes like the second or third at for me to feel like I have to respond. But most of the time I try to avoid it because I'm uninterested in like having a conversation with her because I'm just like, like she'll be like, hi. And I'll just like try to avoid the whole thing because I'm like, we're not friends. Relax. All right.
Over to his channel and actually watch this video with Letitia because it is very, very telling to a lot of the things that I'm about to get into in this video. Another reason I wanted to bring Mango Tea up at the beginning of this video is because it honestly shows a pattern of the person in question befriending whoever has an issue with the person that she's having an issue with as well. But also she just searches out content on the person that she's having issues with. I'll give you an example of Peter Mon because I did not like Peter because of an issue actually between Dustin and Mango Tea. She felt like Peter should have stood up for Dustin and like went after Mango as well and made a video. She seems to get very upset when people don't make videos. Like I have numerous text messages of sending something along the lines of Jacqueline and then saying someone needs to make a video. But I would say within the last few months of us being in Texas, this person actually started watching all of Peter Mon's videos because he was dragging Jacqueline Hill. Out of her own mouth, she said, all of a sudden I have this newfound love for Peter because he's talking about Jacqueline. And here's an example of a content creator that does not do drama videos, but they have made a video about Jacqueline Hill in the past. And I'm talking about Mallory Brooke. Now, Mallory Brooke is someone that I have sent a message to this brand owner before saying like, hey, are they on your affiliate program? Like, are they on the squad? Like trying to hook that up for her because again, she was telling us for the longest time that she has not paid herself a salary. So anything that we could do to try to help boost her sales, we were doing. I mean, even through all this like falling out that was going on, in every single video that I was posting during that time, I was shouting out the sale. There were even text messages between myself and the brand owner, like during all of this, that say, hey, when are you shutting off the sale because I want to put it in today's video. Well, after I posted my public apology to Jacqueline Hill, Mallory Brooke actually commented underneath it and it says, and that friend.
So if you saw this blowing up on Twitter, like this is what I was like, oh, they're for real, because they had the receipts. Like Nick was like throwing up receipt after receipt after receipt. Like she kept being like, they didn't pay rent. And I was like, okay, that's between y'all. Like, whatever. Like, okay. But then you would see all these other receipts where it was like shit like this. And you're like, ooh. Like, she had the same vibe as Marlena to me, where, like, every time something came up about Jaclyn Hill, and I was like, y'all just really need to admit that you're bad business owners and move on from this. I'm not saying Jaclyn Hill is a good person. I would never say that because then I would be a liar. What I am saying, though, it's like, if you're not a good business person, just say that. Just say you weren't smart enough to have contracts, babes. Just say admit it. Just be like, oh, I didn't have a contract because I'm not smart. So like, ooh, this is getting more and more. Oh, we're about to find out how Mallory's involved. All right, here we go.
Friend that I even barely knew pressured me to do the same well after my video, though. Jaclyn needs to be stopped, but the pressure from this in particular individual was insane. I can't imagine how you even were able to handle that kind of bullying, to be honest. I'm so sorry you had to go through that for years. Now, what's interesting about this comment from Mallory Brooke, because I did reach out to her and I said, like, hey, can I put that in my video that I'm going to be putting together? And she said yes. She actually told me, and I can confirm for all of you, because it's the exact same way for Manny. You guys know that I have a dislike for Manny. It's no secret, but I could also offer the same public apology to him, because it's the same thing with Jaclyn. It's like always in the ear. I can guarantee y'all, I am not searching out Manny, and I'm not trying to learn anything that is going on with him. So I did not consent. But when I messaged Mallory Brooke, she said, yeah, of course you can use my comment, but she let me know that this person in question actually was trying to get her to do videos on Manny. She was trying to set up a FaceTime date with her so that they could talk about Manny and she could expose some more things about him. In my opinion, it's a little weird that a brand owner has so much time to try to like ruin other brand owners out here and talk so much shit about all these other brand owners when they really should be focusing on themselves and maybe revamping their own brand so people are excited in it, you know? You talk about Jaclyn Hill doing the bare minimum. At least she was putting together some like photo shoots. At least she was picking out some shades in the catalog about some new products that people were a little bit excited about. And now I need to give you guys a little bit of a backstory as to how we
He is correct about that. He is absolutely correct. Because listen, let's be fucking for real for a second. Nothing has changed for Gerard Cosmetics in like years. Like this takes me back to when I still was friends with certain beauty creators that I don't fuck with anymore because I realized that they were supporters. So I don't like to say his name because again, like Voldemort, if you say their names, like they just come around. I'm like, ugh. But her brand has not changed since it fucking like it's like her, it's Makeup Geek, it's all of these brands that were like big in like the early beauty boom that like haven't done anything to elevate. And I just am so confused why they even still like I'm just like if y'all aren't gonna do anything different, like even the font for Gerard Cosmetics is old. So like I have never liked her. The vindication I am feeling. You're welcome for the water, love. Like, I'm gonna like every time I drink water, it's gonna be loud. I'm sorry. I haven't ever liked her. I just remember her telling Karina Kaboom that she's too ugly to wear makeup. Yeah. Also, I don't. Here's a side note. My opinion. I also never liked how she would show up in chat talking about how like something made in like is made in China and that's not good. And I fucking hate that because I just need you to understand if you're xenophobic, just say so. But you're also telling me that on a phone that was made in China from people who are getting like 2 cents to make this fucking phone. Like you can't pick and choose your xenophobia. You either hate China or you don't, babes. Because if you hate China, like almost everything you have, you're gonna have to get rid of. So like, stop it. Like I can't handle it. Like those kind of people who are like, oh, it's not made in China. I'm like, bitch, please, please, I can't stand it. Like you're making me mad. You're legitimately making me mad because I'm like, where do you think this shit is coming from? Where do you think all of this stuff is coming from? Like everything, my cell phone. The brush that I have, the hair ties, these cheap sweatpants. Like everybody yells about Shein, but it's like the world is Shein. That's what I'm gonna say. The world is Shein at this point. Everything is being made in China or Vietnam, Taiwan. Please, your xenophobia has to stop because like you can't have stuff if that's how you're gonna be. You're like, oh, everything's made of shut up.
exactly got to where we are today and why the friendship is no more. In 2022, Dustin and I were invited out to Texas to actually live in the house with this brand owner because she was out there all alone. She asked us if we wanted to come stay because we were going to be looking for a house to purchase for ourselves after I sold my mom's house, which is exactly what the plan was until we got there. And this brand owner started talking to us about building some kind of like compound where we would each have our own house. Then this is very important because this brand owner tried to tell everyone that I was very isolating to her during this entire friendship. I don't know what's more isolating than inviting people to move away from their whole entire lives, basically, into a house in Texas where they know nobody, and then bring up wanting to build a compound with these people to the point where there's only one house. And you would get upset when I would say, no, I think that we're going to like want our own house. It was, well, why would we need that? Why would you want that? I don't know. Just in my opinion, that comes off as very isolating, not what I'm about to explain to you guys in this video. So that was in March of 2022. And as many of you know, we actually experienced a house fire.
I don't know what to say about the compound situation. That's very, very creepy. Like, it shocked me a bit, and like the glitter is still in my edges. It's giving me like a little bit of panic. So like I'm just gonna move on because that stressed me out a little. Like, compound, bitch, what? Because like when white people with blonde hair decide that there's a compound, it's very Village of the Damned, and I am frightened. Moving on.
At that address in August of 2022. And I just want to make this point real quick because there have been people, because of this brand owner, trying to say that we were like deadbeats, we weren't giving her any money. I quickly debunked that whole entire time that we were at that house before we were even on a lease with the person, which we entered into in October of 2022. That person had already received almost $13,000 from my Apple Pay alone. That's not counting cash. That's not counting in hand. So the fact that some of you out there would honestly believe that we were staying in this person's house for free and not paying for shit, and you just wanted to run with that because you don't like us, miss me. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is after that house fire, you know, the one that claimed the lives of my mom's 2 cats, that this person thinks that it's cute to like go on a podcast and talk about how they're so upset that these cats passed away. Let me tell you guys why, as somebody who lived through that situation, actually experienced it and spent time privately with this person after the fact. There is a story that she will go on to tell you about how after the house was on fire and we were taken out, which Dustin and I were no longer allowed inside, she snuck back in and went right past the door that the cats were in, because here's the staircase, here's the door, and went upstairs to get her toothbrush and brush her teeth. So she had every moment that she could have grabbed those cats, but instead of
You grabbed a toothbrush over the cats? Electric chair. You grabbed a toothbrush over the cats? I hope that that's not true. I hope that that's fake. I really hope that that's fake, because I swear to God, I'm over here drinking water at this point because I'm like mad stressed, because I'm like, bitch, please, please do not tell me under zero circumstances. Please do not tell me that you like, I really hope that that's untrue. I hope that this is hyperbole. I hope that Nick's memory is in confusion, because I cannot fathom a world in which you were like, fuck them cats, like living beings, for a toothbrush. I can't deal with it. Like, I can't. Please don't. I have ADHD. It's hard. Like, I can only brush my teeth if I'm going to do something. I know that people are gonna be like, that's disgusting, and you do you. But if I'm gonna do something, I'll brush my teeth. Like, I brush my teeth because I was gonna film and like do this. Okay? Otherwise, I probably would have gone to bed with fuzzy teeth. Leave me alone. Moving on.
toothbrush was more important to her in that situation, because maybe the police officers or the fire department would think that she had bad breath at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock, whatever the time it was. So yeah, to everyone out there that thinks I'm a little mean when I bring up my cats, that's why. She literally makes a joke out of going up and getting her toothbrush when the cats were just a few steps away. And there's actually another lie that I would like to debunk right now in this video, because after this house fire, obviously myself, Dustin, and the brand owner, we had to go and stay at Airbnbs. This brand owner would like to tell people that Dustin and I offered her nothing to try to help like offset the cost of it, because it was a lot of money. Sometimes it was like $12,000 a month for those Airbnbs, like a lot. It was ridiculous. I don't even think that Airbnb is like allowed to operate in Dallas anymore, but we were told by the brand owner that we did not need to give her any cash when we offered, because she was getting reimbursed from the insurance company. So it wouldn't make sense for us to start giving her money when she was receiving all this money back from the insurance company. Now, I will admit this, it was a little bit like pulling teeth with the insurance company a lot of the times, but she actually received about $90,000 just off jump, just from the insurance company immediately. So it is not that Dustin and I did not offer to pay her anything for this Airbnb. We were literally instructed not to, because it wouldn't make sense with the insurance company reimbursing her. Just something else about the house fire real quick that I just thought of, because I actually saw the file.
That actually does make sense. I will say that when insurance is paying, like if you rent a car, like all these things, insurance pays for a lot of shit. So I'm struggling because I can't listen. I'm getting my heart broken and my feelings hurt. Like every time I think about these cats, I'm just like, these cats were like, they're living beings. Like, it's getting like little weepies, and you're just like, toothbrush. Okay. All right. But yeah, insurance. Like, if you like everybody, I think most people have, or a lot of people have totaled their car. I say most people because like I've totaled multiple cars. Listen, I personally didn't. I wasn't the driver most of the time. but I've been in a vehicle that has in fact been totaled with a person that I was once married to. And once that check comes, like there's nothing else to do. Like you can't get anybody else to do anything for you. Listen, Harper, I am awake for however long I'm awake reacting to this video. So here we go. We're back in. Okay, sorry, y'all.
On my computer right here, this person would not have any of the video files of the inside of the house with this house fire if I did not risk myself to climb up these staircases that were literally falling apart. There were holes in the floor, things were falling through them. If I didn't risk myself going up there, climbing over the fireplace that was in her room so I could get a shot of her bathroom as well as her bedroom. So you're welcome for all of that for your lawsuit that you have going against the rental company. But another thing that I want to say real quick is actually about how much we supported this brand owner, especially through very trying times. After the house fire, a lot of people were asking us like, hey, can we send you donations? Do you need help with the hotel room? We turned all of that down and actually pushed people to go and support her brand and actually start buying from her brand even more because that would have been the best way to help out at the time. So yeah, that definitely seems like people that have had it out for you and want your brand to fail. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense that whenever I talk about this situation, there are numerous people down below saying I would have never bought for this brand if you had not said something about it and put in such a good word about this brand owner. And a lot of people are saying that this brand owner had them fooled because they were like, I thought this was a nice Christian lady, and apparently it's all been a fucking lie. You guys want some like realty as to why I think that person said that they were such like a Christian lady? Because the whole time that they have been in Texas, they have not even gone by a church, y'all. Have not even like made an effort to try to go by a church. The reason why I think that was happening is because when she was in California, she was in a lawsuit with actually Letitia's ex, who is the person that Mingo did the video with, Letitia. And so
Nick, you cannot throw this many burns in at one time. Like burn, 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 burn. Yikes. Like I'm like, sir, calm down. It's too early in the morning for the fire department. Okay, they're resting. I live in a small town. They literally don't expect fire to be happening right now, but you're setting this bitch on fire. I can't. Peffy, it's 3:29 a.m. here, and I am invested in this. To be fair, a lot of women in Texas claim to be good Christian ladies, and they never step foot in the church. To be fair, that's just how they roll here. It's a weird situation.
Oh, I think that the reason that she was so involved in the church is because it was, oh, look, the nice little Christian lady. See, she goes to church every Sunday. She has to be the victim in all of this.
And then she talks about for a rec, like 5 whole minutes about how ugly Rita Gould is, and have you seen her teeth, and she looks like a witch, and blah, blah, her skin is so horrible. I said something about her being a man. So I know for a fact that Jennifer said, I am a white female. And people will believe me. She said that. She can't lie. He gave me $600 cash one day and said, go put a tracker on your ex's car.
So now I want to get to like why we actually had a falling out with the friendship. And I want to start with the Sesh podcast because as many of you know, this brand owner went on the Sesh podcast to talk about Jaclyn Hill. She followed in Marlena Estelle's footsteps, saw the positive reaction that she was getting. And honestly, myself as well as Dustin, we were pushing her to do that. We were pushing her for the longest time. It's like, if this person really wronged you in this way, say something about it. Because you're literally spending all day, every day, just like harping about her, sending us numerous text messages about Jaclyn Hill. Well, after the fact, and I really do think that this had something to do with how our friendship ended as well. I think it was like a boiling point, like leading up to it. When this brand owner got back from Colorado, she kept pushing me, like, when are you making your video? Are you making your video? The podcast is out. She said the same thing to Paige. She said the same thing to Dustin. There's one thing that this brand owner would always tell anybody new or just anybody in our friend group, and that is nobody can drag someone like I can. Now, she would always brag about the way that I can like drag people, and she would always want me to drag people, which I find very interesting because some of those people that I've actually dragged are people that she's still friends with. It was almost like there was a beginning of a disdain for me because I was not putting out the videos that she wanted. I was not dragging the person that she hated the most in this world, and that is Jaclyn Hill. But let's get to what exactly led up to this falling out, because this brand owner decided that
she's not wrong. Nick does a good drag. Okay. She's not wrong. Like, I never in my life want to be dragged by like most people in general, but I do not want to be dragged by Nick because like he'll like did y'all catch what just happened a second ago where he's like blah 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 blah, like just doesn't stop. I'm upset. It's 6:30 a.m. You're right. Listen, I feel like James is awake now and he's just like quietly watching this. Quietly in the dark, like getting his tea, literally and figuratively. Oh my gosh. Like, I cannot deal with this. Okay, we're back in because we're 23 minutes in. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes and 56 seconds. I'm never gonna make it. Here we go.
she was going to like dip her toe, which by the way, we were pushing her to do, literally pushing her to get out there and start dating once again. She downloaded Tinder and a few other dating apps, and she did go on like a few dates, but the guys just turned out to be like losers. But the one that she actually chose to like, I guess, fall in love with, she said after like 17 days, she like found her person, which is very interesting because that's what Dustin and I always say about ourselves. It got to the point where Dustin and I were like so lovey-dovey to each other in front of this brand owner that she would say like, oh my God, you guys are gonna give me diabetes. So insert this loser that she had known for like around 17 days. I do want to point this out that Paige and Gaz were actually in town from the UK when we first met this guy that the brand owner started dating. And they were the ones that originally came to myself and to Dustin and said, hey, do you think that this guy's like on the up and up? Do you think like anything shady is going on with him? And And as it turned out, we were all having the exact same feeling about him, only meeting him one time. So this brand owner tried to make it out that Dustin and myself were digging too deep into this guy's past, even though this brand owner literally digs into everyone else's past, has a Truth Finder account, a few other websites. Hell, she was even telling me that Jaclyn Hill was past due on her property taxes, girl. But she literally has taught everyone how to use these websites. The fact that she would even try to utter the word that we dug a little bit too far into his past when she knows the only thing that we pulled up was the Truth Finder with his background report. But the reason that we were all having like concerns after we had the initial conversation is because out of this brand owner's mouth herself, she told us this man had to wear an ankle monitor for 6 months because he was suicidal, which doesn't make any sense. But if you dig a little bit further into the story, yeah, maybe they thought that he could be suicidal because of a few of the things that he said. But the reason that he actually had to wear it, and I want to say this to a channel out there called Metamorphosis Rocks, I think you're a fucking fool. You ran to make a video because this person has sent you money in the past. So I get you're trying to keep your payroll going. Do you know the reason as to why Dustin and I were afraid for our lives in that house after this confrontation with this brand owner happened, to the point where we had to barricade a door because we were worried that when we were sleeping, because admittedly we had the cameras turned off because this brand owner, as well as this creepy guy that she just got with that would stand over her shoulder, were trying to watch us while we were trying to remove our items from the house so that we could move and we could be safe, because we were removing ourselves from a toxic, dangerous situation. And the reason as to why we had the door barricaded and we were so worried for our safety, which we said on Twitter, which, remind you, we didn't name anybody's name in this until the brand owner as well as the boyfriend decided they were going to go over to Reddit and try to make up all these lies about how we were just like deadbeats. The boyfriend said that he witnessed such hard drug use, which I'm going to get to in a second. But the reason as to why we were so concerned for our safety, and at the end of the day, my safety.
I'm going to tell you, I did witness that. Because again, I am the nosiest of nosy bitches. I did witness that because here's the thing. None of that, like I said, nobody should have been like talking in Reddit. Because like, I think it's weird when creators are actually like talking in the BGC. I'm like, are y'all okay? Go somewhere. Stop it. This isn't a space for you to talk. But to be fair, the brand owner, as we're referring to her, or JG, she was there first, like trying to defend herself because like somebody basically a post started because they were like, hey, have y'all seen all this shit popping off on Twitter? And people were like, yeah, it's really embarrassing, like that. This is my memory. Let me, like, if I'm incorrect, let me know. But from what I recollect, JG is in there like just going off about how Nick and Dustin didn't pay for shit, et cetera, et cetera. They were losers. They like did all the stuff like that. And I think after a while, Nick and Dustin had kind of gotten tired of her basically trying to, because she lost on Twitter is essentially what happened. She was on Twitter, she lost because Nick came with receipts being like, this is all the money that we paid. These are the conversations we've had about this, and this. So she was losing on Twitter. And what I will say about BGC is that people spread a lot of fucking bullshit ass rumors over there. I will say that. Like, that's what I find fascinating is like how much false information gets spread over there over and over and over again. It's very interesting, especially because like there are times when I know the people involved and I'm just like, wow, that's not what happened at all. But okay. So she's over there just like going off and talking about this. And so she had lost on Twitter. So she went over to Reddit to try to win. And the thing is, of course, she's going to win a little bit on Reddit because everybody, like a lot of people on Reddit have like, do not like Nick and Dustin. They don't like them. I'm not making that up. So since they don't like Nick and Dustin, they took all of this and were like, oh, poor you. Poor white lady. I like, listen, I have to be honest because I just want to say if this wasn't a white lady, an older white lady, this conversation would, I don't know. I'm calling her older because she can't, like, we're probably like the same age. I just don't look that.
Boyfriend.
Why? She literally makes a joke out of going up and getting her toothbrush when the cats were just a few steps away. And there's actually another lie that I would like to debunk right now in this video, because after this house fire, obviously myself, Dustin, and the brand owner, we had to go and stay at Airbnbs. This brand owner would like to tell people that Dustin and I offered her nothing to try to help like offset the cost of it, because it was a lot of money. Sometimes it was like $12,000 a month for those Airbnbs, like a lot. It was ridiculous. I don't even think that Airbnb is like allowed to operate in Dallas anymore. But we were told by the brand owner that we did not need to give her any cash when we offered because she was getting reimbursed from the insurance company. So it wouldn't make sense for us to start giving her money when she was receiving all this money back from the insurance company. Now, I will admit this, it was a little bit like pulling teeth with the insurance company a lot of the times, but she actually received about $90,000 just off jump, just from the insurance company immediately. So it is not that Dustin and I did not offer to pay her. Fail. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense that whenever I talk about this situation, there are numerous people down below saying I would have never bought for this brand if you had not said something about it and put in such a good word about this brand owner. And a lot of people are saying that this brand owner had them fooled because they were like, I thought this was a nice Christian lady, and apparently it's all been a fucking lie. You guys want some like realty as to why I think that person said that they were such like a Christian lady? Because the whole time that they have been in Texas, they have not even gone by a church, y'all. Have not even like made an effort to try to go by a church. The reason why I think that was happening is because when she was in California, she was in a lawsuit with actually Letitia's ex, who is the person that Mango did the video with, Letitia. And so I think that the reason that she was so involved in the church is because it was, oh look, the nice little Christian lady. See, she goes to church every Sunday. She has to be the victim in all of this.
And then she talks about for a rec like 5 whole minutes about how ugly Green Boom is and have you seen her teeth and she looks like a witch and blah blah. Her skin is so horrible. Said something about her being a man. So I know for a fact that Jennifer said, I am a white female. And people will believe me. I can prove she said that. She can't lie. He gave me $600 cash one day and said, go put a tracker on your ex's car.
So now I want to get to like why we actually have falling out with the friendship. And I want to start with the Sesh podcast because as many of you know, this brand owner went on the Sesh podcast to talk about Jaclyn Hill. She followed in Marlena Estelle's footsteps, saw the positive reaction that she was getting. And honestly, myself as well as Dustin, we were pushing her to do that. We were pushing her for the longest time. It's like, if this person really wronged you in this way, say something about it because you're literally spending all day, every day, just like harping about her, sending us numerous text messages about Jaclyn Hill. Well, after the fact, and I really do think that this had something to do with how our friendship ended as well. I think it was like a boiling point, like leading up to it. When this brand owner got back from Colorado, she kept pushing me like, when are you making your video? Are you making your video? The podcast is out. She said the same thing to Paige. She said the same thing to Dustin. There's one thing that this brand owner would always tell anybody new or just anybody in our friend group, and that is nobody can drag someone like I can. Now, she would always brag about the way that I can like drag people, and she would always want me to drag people, which I find very interesting because some of those people that I've actually dragged are people that she's still friends with. It was almost like there was a beginning of a disdain for me because I was not putting out the videos that she wanted. I was not dragging the person that she hated the most in this world, and that is Jaclyn Hill. But let's get to what exactly led up to this falling out because this brand owner decided that she was going to like dip her toe, which by the way, we were pushing her to do, literally pushing her to get out there and start dating once again. She downloaded Tinder and a few other dating apps, and she did go on like a few dates, but the guys just turned out to be like losers. But the one that she actually chose to like, I guess, fall in love with, she said after like 17 days, she like found her person, which is very interesting because that's what Dustin and I always say about ourselves. It got to the point where Dustin and I were like so lovey-dovey to each other in front of this brand owner that she would say like, oh my God, you guys are gonna give me diabetes. So insert this loser that she had known for like around 17 days. I do want to point this out that Paige and Gaz were actually in town from the UK when we first met this guy that the brand owner started dating. And they were the ones that originally came to myself and to Dustin and said, hey, do you think that this guy's like on the up and up? Do you think like anything shady is going on with him? And as it turned out, we were all having the exact same feeling about him, only meeting him one time. But this brand owner tried to make it out that Dustin and myself were digging too deep into this guy's past, even though this brand owner literally digs into everyone else's past, has a Truth Finder account, a few other websites. Hell, she was even telling me that Jaclyn Hill was past due on her property taxes, girl. But she literally has taught everyone how to use these websites. The fact that she would even try to utter the word that we dug a little bit too far into his past when she knows the only thing that we pulled up was the Truth Finder with his background report. But the reason that we were all having like concerns after we had the initial conversation is because out of this brand owner's mouth herself, she told us this man had to wear an ankle monitor for 6 months because he was suicidal, which doesn't make any sense. But if you dig a little bit further into the story, yeah, maybe they thought that he could be suicidal because of a few of the things that he said. But the reason that he actually had to wear it, and I want to say this to a channel out there called Metamorphosis Rocks, I think you're a fucking fool who ran to make a video because this person has sent you money in the past. So I get you're trying to keep your payroll going. Do you know the reason as to why Dustin and I were afraid for our lives in that house after this confrontation with this brand owner happened, to the point where we had to barricade a door because we were worried that when we were sleeping, because admittedly we had the cameras turned off because this brand owner, as well as this creepy guy that she just got with that would stand over her shoulder, were trying to watch us while we were trying to remove our items from the house so that we could move and we could be safe because we were removing ourselves from a toxic, dangerous situation. And the reason as to why we had the door barricaded and we were so worried for our safety, which we said on Twitter, which remind you, we didn't name anybody's name in this until the brand owner as well as the boyfriend decided they were going to go over to Reddit and try to make up all these lies about how we were just like deadbeats. The boyfriend said that he witnessed such hard drug use, which I'm going to get to in a second. But the reason as to why we were so concerned for our safety, and at the end of the day, my safety as well as Dustin's safety is more important than anything else that was going on in that house, was because this man that your friend is trying to defend has a charge against him where he has to go to court and all of his guns were taken away from him and out of his possession by the police, which are still under lock and key from the state that he's originally from, because he allegedly threatened to shoot his ex-wife and a son and kill them. So excuse us that's what did it for you, that we showed that we barricaded the door. That's what did it for you. A few of the other red flags that came out of this brand owner's mouth to myself to Dustin.
So you mean regular white man shit? Anyways, like I know that's not nice, but it's true. That's what they do. So sorry, I hit some button and listen, my mouse like sticks, and so that was a lot. That was a lot of information. So basically, what we have at this point is that Jen Gerard has been pissed off, or excuse me, the brand owner has been pissed off that nobody's making the videos. Listen, I've been having this problem with like her and Marlene Stell. Like it's not even like, oh, people shouldn't, like everybody should be allowed to speak out about what happened to them, right? I get that. But I feel like Marlena and JG have been constantly talking about what went on. And I keep saying this. Y'all are just bad business owners. Own that. Like two things can be true at one time, right? Jaclyn Hill can be a terrible person, but also you can be a bad business owner. And that's what we are. And so the fact that all of this has taken place and like, I'm in shock at this point because I'm like, Jesus, like it's just turning around and you're finding out more and more stuff. And I said before, you will not catch me first, like not just because I'm ace. Don't be like, well, because you're ace, but you would not catch me choosing dick over like my friends. You just wouldn't. You just wouldn't. It's not gonna happen. I'm so sorry. Have a good day.
The page to Rosalie, to many other people that are involved in the situation. She told us that he was at one time the CEO of Deutsche Bank, one of the largest banks in the world. He was at one time, by the way, very Googleable. You can Google all the way back to who the CEOs were. Also, the history of Deutsche Bank, very, very concerning. He was at one time the CEO of AMD Avalon Processors. He apparently was the CEO of his own company, which was like the fastest growing tech IP, whatever company of one of these years. Well, it was apparently the fastest going out of business company because it's defunct. Another thing that was a major red flag for all of us was the fact that she told us that this man has had a history in online drama dating back to the 90s, you guys. There are all of these forums about this man talking about how he's a liar, talking about his shade, talking about how he lies about his whole entire lifestyle, dating back to the 90s, to the point where on their first date, he literally told this brand owner that I've had to go online and have all my information scrubbed because there's just so many haters out there, there's so much drama, and they just tried to like destroy my business. Is that not a red flag? And just to clear up really quick, a misconception that I've seen on social media regarding this situation, Justin and I were not doing any digging into this man's background that did not want us to do. She literally was the one that sent us the name of his company. She sent us his first and last name, and that was on September 14th before we even confronted her with any of the information that we found.
You know, we're going to worry regardless, so you can save that part. I don't think we'll find anything anyway because I trust you, but we wouldn't share anything unless we found something that was bad anyway, so I think you're good.
And the reason that she actually sent us all of his information like that out of her own regard, like we did not ask for it, was because she was having a conversation with us.
Now wait. Now wait. Now wait a minute. She kept trying to act as if she didn't want them to do this. Like this is here's the thing. This is why I pay attention to what people say and not who the people are, right? Because regardless of how you feel about Nick and Dustin, I paid attention to what was being presented to me. And on Twitter, I was very actively being like, girl, you getting eaten up by Nick. Like he is eating you like all the way up. There's nothing left, girl. And not in the good no crumbs way. Like this is not 8 left no crumbs. This is like 8, you should be a little bit worried about your livelihood because he is like everywhere you go. So when I saw this taking place, I was like, oh girl, this is not looking good for you. Because at every turn, everything that she would say, Nick quite literally had screenshots as a response to what it was she said. So I was like, ooh, it's not looking good for you, Blondie, you know? Ooh, oh, it's not looking good. Once you had love and it was divine. And now we all found out you're the one with the heart of glass, you know? Blondie reference. I'm not sure how I was able to make that work, but we're going to move past it. But like, I saw this happening, okay? And I was just like, this is not good. You're getting eaten up. That's why, like I said before, she ran over to Reddit, was trying to win over there. I'm guessing Nick and Dustin caught wind of her like being over there, trying to be like, y'all don't understand. She kept trying to say that she didn't ask anyone to look into him. And here's the thing. If she has the screenshots that say that she has a hard no, where they were like, we're going to look into him for your safety. And then she was like, don't do that. I don't want you to. Cool. Then I will see her point of view. But at this point, everything that I have seen is that everybody's been saying that they're gonna check him. And she's been like, okay. But then she got information she didn't want to have. And suddenly it was like, oh, you guys are assholes. You did all this stuff. I'm like, baby, it can't be that good. It's like, I mean, I understand new dick can be exciting, but it can't be that good.
She was in the kitchen and we were actually cleaning up a beanbag chair that her dog destroyed. And during that conversation, she was telling us that she found her person and that he's somebody that you can't get something over on. I responded to her and I said, but is he somebody that gets things over on people? So the reason why she sent us all of his information like that to look up was because she noticed like in our voice, we sounded like we were concerned. So from the early on, before this even blew up online, this brand owner knew that we were concerned for her safety and concerned for the situation. So obviously after we looked into the fact that this man was not at one time the CEO of Deutsche Bank, was not at one time the CEO of AMD Avalon Processors, and we found out that his business was actually defunct in the state that he actually opened it up in. Now we were met with the excuse of he's moving the business, so therefore he closed it there and he's going to reopen it over here with a different like LLC. We were also told this man did 2 different tours in Iraq, as well as at one time was an FBI gun instructor. Y'all, this just gets crazier and crazier as it goes on. Like, are these not red flags?
Wait a minute. I can't. In 2023, with the amount of access that we have to the internet and like background checks, like you can shell out like $14, $7 to get a background check. You mean to tell me? Oh my God, Kiara, period. You mean to tell me that like you couldn't like I'm so confused. I'm like, girl, literally. Yes, Feffy. Him lying about being the CEO of recognizable brands too. Like the click cannot be the dick cannot be that good. And like I can't if you're lying about like y'all, y'all, you can lie about things that nobody can check. Okay. Like I can tell you all day long that I was the CEO of Broadband Sports, which is now a defunct online sports company that had like a magazine and whatnot. I wasn't the CEO. I did work there, but it's gone. Like it doesn't exist. I can say whatever I want about it now. But really, like I cannot deal with this. And also he went to the moon. It's really weird. It's really weird behavior. Like I can't fathom taking shit to this level, to a level that's just like it's actually hurting my brain. Okay, here we go. We have like 30 to 45 more minutes before I'm just like, okay, I need to like wash my face and pretend I'm gonna go to sleep so that I can get up and do this again tomorrow. So we can finish the video, honestly.
For everyone out there. Like, did y'all not think that we had like a legit reason to be concerned about this man? And another thing that he was telling this brand owner, like trying to hype himself up, was the fact that he had yachts parked all across the world, some in Italy, you guys, just everywhere, that he was going to whisk her away, I bet, to the middle of the ocean. So after myself, Dustin, Rosalie, Paige, Gaz, Vanessa, and a few other friends all started to have these different concerns, and we all compared what we were being told. And it was literally the exact same thing. And we're like, hey, these are red flags. Somebody, not myself, not Dustin, reached out because it was on his background report to his ex-wife. And before anybody was to be like, oh my God, you're overstepping a boundary, family violence, threatening to allegedly shoot his ex-wife and their son and kill them. Okay, so I don't want to hear nothing down in the comment section of people saying you guys went too far. I just listed a bunch of red flags. If you guys weren't going to be concerned about that, then I don't know what to tell you. All I'm going to say about this phone call is we all heard what this ex-wife said. No information was offered. It was like a fountain was turned on when the ex-wife, who was very reluctant, like did not even want to get on the phone because she said she was that nervous. It was like a fountain was turned on with the stuff that she started saying about this man. I know that exes always talk shit about each other, but one of the reasons why we even wanted to reach out in the first place to her was because we all knew about her before all this stuff went south, before we knew a few of the red flags that I just listed for all of you guys. It was a classic case of somebody trashing their ex, trying to make the ex seem like they're crazy so that the new person will be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you went through so much, let me save you. So this brand owner obviously knew that we were going to look him up on Truth Finder, and we were going to let her know if we found anything shady. Even if we didn't find anything shady, I still would have let her know.
I'm going to say this just generally because obviously I'm a he-man one and like a he-woman I hate men, but I'm going to say this. I just generally don't find a whole lot of women who are like, who actually talk shit about their ex. And by that, I mean, a lot of times, like when women get into a new relationship, they don't even have the energy to like really talk shit about their ex. A lot of times they're just like, well, we just didn't get along, or our emotional maturity was different. Like women try, like generally, this isn't all, but generally try to find like a diplomatic way to go about it and like move past it, because like either they are healed or are healing from that situation and don't really want to make it a big deal to where it like carries on into this new relationship. Men, however, have a track record of calling virtually every woman that they date crazy. Like now that you're no longer together, it's like, oh, she was crazy. I don't trust most men who have crazy exes. I'm gonna go talk to her because I promise you, whatever she's gonna tell you, like this is just the secret. If you're out there still dating and you date men and those men date women, I promise you, if she says he is fucked up, you need to listen to her. Okay? You need to listen to her. There's a reason for all of this. Like every time a man does it, oh, she's so crazy. I'm like, how am I crazy? I didn't do anything to you. I've like literally walked away from you. Like, look, and now I'm crazy. Okay. So I think it's weird whenever like I don't know, because I don't trust men. I always ask myself, what'd you do to make her like this? What did you do? Because she dated plenty of people before you. She wasn't like this. And now, like she's dated you. I'm just saying. Vivi, you're like trying to catch up. You're like, tickmatized. What's happened? again, I have heard from straight girls that red flag dude dick is good. But also considering that a minuscule amount of straight women orgasm, I stand by my opinion. It can't be that good. No, you're correct. And very few. Like with like penetration, we'll try for. The craziest guys have small coke deals that don't work. It's all a myth. Women could almost get crimes committed on, and they will still go on about how the breakup divorce was amicable just in case she was overreacting. Exactly. Like I have been through like emotional trauma in a marriage, and so I'm like, well, maybe if I had no, girl, calm down.
He ended up calling her and said, like, you need to come home right now. We need to talk to you about something. And she immediately responded with, is it about somebody I'm in the house with right now? Every time she was over at that man's house, for some reason, she had to like whisper into her phone. I'm not exactly sure why. But then we find out after we told her that we were concerned for her safety, that the whole time that we were talking to her on the phone, the man was standing there right with her, listening to everything that we were saying. So she comes home, she's sitting at the counter. This is how like involved she wanted to be in this conversation. I made a list on my phone of all the talking points that I wanted to get to and like the list of things the ex-wife said on the phone. And I sit down on the couch after hugging her when she comes through the door. I sit down on the couch expecting her to come sit on the couch as well. She looks at me and she goes, can I open my packages while you're talking to me about this? Because it just helps me. So I'm not going to go into this list much. I might post it over on Twitter, but there was one thing that was like really concerning. Because during this conversation that Dustin and I were having in person with her, you had Rosalie also on FaceTime, which was sitting right here next to Dustin, facing. But then you also had Vanessa on FaceTime because she was actually concerned for safety and the situation, which honestly, she didn't even have to be, because what you guys don't know is the fact that Vanessa worked for this company and was fired for a personal reason that started because this brand owner no longer wanted to be her friend because Vanessa got her pussy waxed and she was sleeping with a man that she was dating. But this brand owner thought that she could step into Vanessa's parenting style and say that she's a piss poor parent, actually said that Vanessa's child was going to grow up to be a serial killer because Vanessa was in a dating phase. Like, how dare you try to get involved in somebody's parenting, especially as somebody who has never had a child of their own. Although I do have to say, I thought it was very comical when you were talking and saying, as a stepmother to this man that you knew for 17 days about his 18-year-old daughter. You knew him for 17 days and you were talking like a stepmom, calling yourself a step-parent on the phone. The part of the list that I'm referring to actually has to do with this woman that this man allegedly dated when he first moved to Texas that, guess what, he was apparently obsessed with as well and started to get psycho with her towards the end. Well, one of the things that was said over the phone was that allegedly after this woman and this man broke up, his daughter was sending her like threatening text messages apparently saying, how dare you leave my father? But also allegedly, since he was on her Wi-Fi and I guess maybe somehow had her Facebook password, all of a sudden CP started getting sent from her internet connection, but also from her Facebook profile. Now on the list, I brought that up and I brought that to the attention of the person that we were talking to. And the immediate response was, that's not alarming. That happens all the time. Now immediately I was taken aback and I wish you guys could have.
CP doesn't happen all the time. You have to look for CP. You have to want to find that. It doesn't just happen. CP doesn't just happen to you. Wow. I swear as I go through, I'm just like, I can't breathe. This is so much. I'm like, this is a lot. This is so much information. I'm trying to take it in. I'm glad it's moving at this speed, but also I'm just like, wow. Amanda, I have not ever been demonetized. I have not. Even when I was I was just like, eh. Like, I think I enjoyed every relationship except for like that part. There was literally one person where I found it enjoyable and fully consensual in all of my partners. And that was because he was like, before everybody was like talking about how consent was cool, like he was very much like, is this okay? Is it all right that I do this? And I was like, yes, it is. I don't mind. Good friend of mine. But otherwise, like, no. So I can't imagine being like by the, you know what I mean? Like I can't. Now there's women that I've like made out with and NBs. I still remember those kisses. Anyways.
Seen my face because I responded with, no, the fuck doesn't. That's not something that has ever happened on my social media, Dustin's social media, Rosalie's social media, Vanessa's social media, hopefully not your social media or anybody's social media that we know. I want to touch on Rosalie real quick because some of you might not be familiar with Rosalie Delgado. She does have a YouTube channel, but she's mainly on Facebook, like live streaming and doing all of her makeup looks. So I definitely recommend checking her out. Rosalie was literally this brand owner's best friend. Like end all be all, this brand owner would do anything for Rosalie and vice versa. I do have permission to talk about this from Rosalie. I actually asked her before I sat down. I am going to be playing you guys a few voice memos in a moment, just because there's been a lot of manipulation that has gone on in regards to this situation. And frankly, we're over it. over it. So Rosalie has had a few dark experiences herself when it comes to domestic violence, so she was seeing red flags and having her own concerns about this guy that this brand owner was with. So she really wanted to be there when we confronted this brand owner about the things that we found out, also about what the ex-wife said. Rosalie was literally on FaceTime bawling her eyes out, crying in front of this brand owner who was looking right at the camera, and she said, I want to let you know why I'm having these concerns. And she's literally fighting back tears as she's trying to say this, and didn't look right at the camera, and she said, why are you even bringing that up? So your supposed best friend of the time that you know has had a very dark past when it comes to domestic violence, to the point where you have literally weaponized it when people have had a disagreement with Rosalie. That's the first thing that you can go to. You bring that up, that she has a past with domestic violence. It seems to be a pattern for you. But you're going to look her right in the face over FaceTime and ask her why the she bringing up her issues and bringing up why she has concerns because she's concerned for you. There's one thing that a lot of you might not remember or just might not know. It was alluded to online, but it was also said behind the scenes to Paige as well as Rosalie. But this brand owner was saying like, Nick and Vanessa aren't going to be happy until I hurt myself or I end it all. Like basically saying that they are suicidal. When I originally posted on Twitter that Dustin and I were going to be leaving Texas because we've been put in a very dangerous situations over our safety, we were just going to remove ourselves. I did not name this brand owner. I did not name this brand owner's boyfriend. I did not name this brand owner's boyfriend's daughter, who nobody even knew that he had a daughter on social media until he started making weird posts of a picture of him and her on a motorcycle talking about daddy.
Bro got weird. Also, like her man, I don't know if y'all saw it, but like this brand owner's man started getting weird as shit. I'm so sorry. Like I saw this happening and I was like, oh, bro, you created like a Twitter account for this? I'm not gonna call it X. Like, I'm not. Like Twitter is Twitter. Listen, Feffy, you're coming out with bangers today. That person who wrote that mention start their lives in jail and prove their way out tweet was real. Period. I've like heard nothing but horrible things about this person. And here's the thing. I would be more inclined to believe the brand owner, right? If it wasn't quite literally everyone around her being like, hey, boo, this guy is bad news. You know, like everybody is just like, So we're about to hear these voice notes. We're good. Listen.
Daughter time. Well, it didn't take long after I posted that over on Twitter that this brand owner actually went to Reddit herself, and then her boyfriend went to Reddit and tried to accuse us of things of being abusive to her. It also accused us of being like hard drug users. My point is, no names were named. Actually, if you looked under my original tweet, people were like, I hope that you, Jen, and Dustin are all safe. I hope whatever it is, you guys get through it, blah, 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 blah. No one knew. Like, nobody knew what the situation was. So the fact that the brand owner would even bring up the word suicide or the word suicidal, and then the next day she told Rosalie that she just said that so people would stop coming after her on social media.
I'm really sad for you, friend, because I don't think you deserve to have a man come into your world and create this amount of havoc. And I told you, if that man really loved you, like he tells you every day, like he started telling you day 3 of dating him, if he really loved you, he would stop this shit. He would stop it because he knows it's hurting you. That's why, because I love you, that I stopped and I moved on and I moved away because I knew it was hurting you. But let me tell you something while I have you on the phone. You know what triggered me the most was the night that you kept saying you wanted to hurt yourself. You told me you were feeling like you wanted to kill yourself, and you told Paige that. And then the next day you told me you just said that to get the heat off of you. That hurt me so bad. Because I've been to that place.
Okay, so it is obviously a different time and a different day. I know it looks like I'm wearing the exact same thing, and you're kind of right, but I did change my outfit. This is literally just my uniform. I wear the same exact thing every single day. But let's get back into this conversation that myself, Dustin, Rosalie, Vanessa were having with our ex-friends. There were actually two conversations that happened that day. You had the initial one where we presented everything to her. She immediately got up from that, went into her bedroom, called the man that we were giving her all this information about, not to just check up on him, but to tell him everything that we had just said. Now, keep in mind, this is a man that we were all telling our concerns about. We thought that he was dangerous because of some things that we found on the internet about him. And then when someone spoke to the ex-wife, having things confirmed, like,
wait, his mama named him Twitter. I would call him Twitter. That is an amazing coming to America reference. Props. Ooh, I'm fucking done. All right. I'm so sorry. I had to do that.
throughout this whole entire situation, from the day that we actually confronted with all this information to the time that we actually left Texas and got the out of the house, we were telling her numerous times that we were leaving a toxic, dangerous situation. The living environment was just not going to work out for us anymore. I even sent her text messages saying that we are removing ourselves for this reason. I know that it is unfair that we said that we would call the police if this man ever comes to the house. So you are, girl, keep dating him. We're just choosing to not be in the situation. Somehow that wasn't okay. Can somebody answer for me, please, like how it's okay though that she would want us to continue living in a situation where a man makes us uncomfortable, the man has this, and this against him, his story doesn't line up, none of the jobs that he said he had he ever had. The second conversation was just between myself, Dustin, and honestly, it went pretty well. Like, we all talked about it. We said, this man makes us uncomfortable. Came to like a reasoning kind of about it. We were still gonna get the fuck out of there. Like, I already told Dustin, I'm not dealing with this. If she wants to stay with this man, great, good for her. I hope that they make it. I hope they get married and all that kind of stuff. She's 56 years old. She said that she finally met her person. But immediately after that conversation, she went back into her bedroom and once again called the man because she had to be on the phone with him literally 24/7 every single day. Like, I understand puppy love. I understand you're excited to be in a new relationship, but 24/7 unless you were sleeping is a little insane. So I even have a text to her because it seemed that every time she would go into the room and she would start talking to him privately, the attitude would change and she would immediately start to be a bitch. So I brought that up to her. I was like, it seems that your attitude changes every single time that you talk to this man on the phone, and then started some more of the manipulation. So this man immediately had all these documents on the ready to send to our ex-friend so that she could try to present his side of the story to us, saying that the ex-wife was lying. She is so dangerous. She is so abusive to him. All of this kind of stuff. But let's not forget the charge. After a lot of back and forth and text message, you guys, her trying to make us believe that this man was a good man. This man was not lying about anything, even though the receipts, you guys, you remember how I told you that she said he like had yachts all over the world? This is her word out of her own mouth. She said that he had boats everywhere. Basically, they were parked somewhere. The receipt that she gave me to prove that this man had yachts was from 2001. We are in the year of 2023. Why the would I care that this man had a boat?
Girl. He once had a yacht. Yeah, bitch, I was once married. I used to have a motorcycle. Doesn't mean I have them now. Like, what are you talking about? This is so wild. And the reason I even started like getting remotely interested in it in a situation of like, what the fuck is actually happening here is because of what people started saying about the man. And as soon as the man, like the multiple amount of people, even on the Twitter threads at the time, who were like, girl, you are letting this man, I was like, you're wrong. Like whatever you're doing, it's not good. Like, that was my opinion. I know that people could be like, well, but I was like, it's not good. If everyone around you dislikes the person you are dating, it is that person. Like, every single person that you've ever been close to, and they're like, yeah, we don't like the person you're dating. You have to, oh, he's streaming. Yeah, sweet dreams, baby. Yes. Okay. Relax. Go, baby. Okay, sorry, Borks. I give him like pets and loves. He's got his like little tongue out and everything. But yeah, I've never in 2001 I used to fit in trendy clothes. I don't anymore because it was over 2 decades ago. Like, period. I just find this whole thing weird. I'm very much singing the Dashboard confessional song, Vindicated. Like, I can't sing it right every time because every time I think of the song, like the whole tune leaves my brain. I'm like, ask M. I've done that to them multiple times. I'm like, you know that song, Vindicated. I'm selfish and I'm wrong. It just happens every time. Here we go.
Docked in 2001. So our ex-friend kept sending Dustin and myself all of these receipts and all of this proof that this man is just such an amazing person. He is not what we say he is. All of these allegations are untrue. Didn't go the way that they were expecting. She literally texted me after I told her numerous times to her face that this man makes us uncomfortable. If he comes back to this house, he's one, a liar. But if he comes back to this house, I'm going to call the police and I'm going to say that he needs to be off of this property. Because let's not forget, I was on the lease as well. And you're not going to make me live in an uncomfortable, dangerous, toxic situation. She literally had the audacity, gall, and the mother gumption to ask me to come into the kitchen because she wanted to speak with me. She thought that I owed him an apology. And then she tried this manipulative bullshit, honestly, like it was from high school. You're 56 years old, simmer the fuck down. I'm just going to read you guys these text messages. She said, she wants to talk to you. You can meet me in the kitchen. The fact that she said you can meet me in the kitchen as if I was going to be there with bells on to apologize to the man that's lying to you. And I said, I have no interest in speaking with, to be honest. It will not change any opinion that I have. She responded again. I think he deserves an apology. He already broke up with me, which should make everyone but me happy. If that was some attempt to make myself or Dustin feel bad that we were worried about our friend, as were all of her other closest friends, you failed. So I responded and said, I'm not sorry for anything though. Sorry for having concern for my friend. Well, actually, I'm sorry for cursing earlier because I did curse. You guys know I have a mouth on me. I mean, there's so many beliefs. There's a bleep right there. I say it all the time. So yeah, I cursed. Oh no, let me get the soap from my mouth. She then goes on, for making untrue allegations and for contacting the person who has been trying to ruin his life. Let me tell you guys about his ex-wife because this is actually so comical. During this whole entire thing, this whole entire drama, this whole entire friendship.
And quick pause. Like, I know that there would be somebody who like, well, those screenshots could have been faked. Here's the thing about these that I like, again, I was watching this unfold on Twitter. She never negated any of the screenshots. And that's the time to do it, to be like, you've changed these, and then send yours that are like, hey, and then at least introduce confusion into the mix. So we're not sure whose screenshots are true. And we're all like, oh my God, who's telling us the truth? We don't know. But Beppy, I know you're not over there. Every time I think about Dashboard Confessionals because of you, it's literally because like Vindicated is like so tired. Ba ba doo ba doo. Da ba da ba da. I don't know the words to the song. Like, I just remember like bits and pieces of it. It's nightmarish for everyone who listens to it. Who listens to me like randomly, but I cannot like when the song comes on, I know all of the words. But whenever I try to relay the song to someone else, it comes out just like I just did. Vindicated. So tired. Blah blah blah. Blah ba da ba da ba da. Da ba da da. Like I can't remember it. It's weird. Um anyways, I'm so sorry. Like I like have my little ADHD ramblings. I just again, I saw this unfold on Twitter. I'm telling y'all, one of the things about screenshots that I've always noticed and I paid attention to when they come out is how the other person responds to the screenshots being leaked or whatever. If the other person doesn't really like argue them, then I'm like, okay, I feel like this is the truth because I would argue that if you had doctored them. And she never argued it. So that like that's just my like, okay, we're gonna try to finish an hour of this if I could just shut my yap.
Ending thing. There's one thing that could have made it all stop in the eyes of that piece of shit that she was dating for 17 days that she allowed to destroy all of her closest friendships. And that was if we promised to never contact his ex-wife again, which honestly, nobody had any plans on doing. We had the information that we needed to present to our friends, which honestly makes you wonder, considering they're going through a divorce, considering the charge that is still pending until next year, it honestly makes you wonder why this man is so concerned if his ex-wife knows where he is. We did not tell his ex-wife where he is. She actually let us know that he was living in a town in Texas. She let us know that because she told us about the ex that he was with, that he allegedly was obsessed with as well. Since we are on the topic of this man's ex-wife and the divorce that he is going through, would you guys be shocked to know that this man who is a proclaimed millionaire, he says that he just has so much money, he was going to show up at our ex-friend's warehouse with a bag of money to give her because she gifted his daughter so much makeup. We were literally told that this man was representing himself in divorce court because he was so well known and so revered in the community that he did not want the courts to think that he had an upper hand in his divorce. So a multi-millionaire is self-representing in a divorce.
Especially if he was married to her for 10 years or longer. This is Texas. And then that's when it really becomes like you have to pay alimony. 10 years in. I know because I had to use this in order to get my ex-husband to just like let us be divorced because I was getting tired of like going back and forth with him. I'm like, I just want you to leave me the fuck alone. And I also would like to have a little bit of something that's fair. And I utilized that because we had, in fact, been married 10 years. So I was like, get it together or I'm going to talk to a lawyer. Let's make this really simple. Ooh. Like I'm just telling you this as someone who lives in Texas. Alimony comes into play if you've been married 10 years longer, but nobody has the only way you'd be quote unquote representing yourself as a millionaire without a prenup. Like there isn't one. I'm so sorry. There actually isn't one. I'm inadvertently helping the case for Nick. And I didn't mean I'm literally living in Texas right now. And I'm telling you, I went through a divorce in Texas. There's no way. I like if he even if it wasn't 10 years, I'm just telling you that if she could prove that she was like, this is the life I've lived. Okay.
Divorce. I've known some millionaires in my time here on this planet, and let me tell you, anytime that they had to go to court, even if it was the smallest of things, they were not self-representing because you know why? They actually had the bankroll to be able to put behind a lawsuit so that they wouldn't go in there and have to self-represent because they were so well known, and they would actually win. They would actually win. Okay, so I just had to pause and take a smoke break. I hope that you guys are staying elevated or you're at least staying hydrated because I know this video is very, very long. This is actually probably the longest video that I've ever put on this channel. But since we were on the topic of red flags, I do have a few more red flags that I remembered that I wanted to bring up to you guys to get your opinion down below in the comment section. The first one has to be that this man, the CEO, he told our ex-friend that he turned down a $1.2 million job like a week into their relationship because he wanted to focus on the new budding love that he had found with her. Oh, and then there is this one. Please let me know if this is like a reason for concern at all. He told her that he loved her on day 3. Day 3, not date, D-A-Y, 3. Trace. Let's see what else. Oh, remember how we're talking about how he is a manipulator? Let me tell you about a little bit more manipulation with this red flag. So the daughter was on date number 2 to fill our ex-friend and on how the ex-wife that he was going through the divorce with was so toxic, she was abusive, and all of these different things. Is that appropriate for a second date? Who the f brings their child on a second date? And in my opinion, and literally all of her ex-friends that she informed that the daughter was on the second date, and she went through the whole spiel about how the lady was abusive and all of that, that is just tugging on the heartstrings, trying to get in deeper and get their claws onto her. And let me tell you, it worked. And then there, of course, is this red flag. Actually, I just thought of another one. That is so crazy. There's this red flag right here where this man told our ex-friend that he had only been in town for a few months, like 3. Well, it turns out that this man was allegedly in town since November of 2022 because he had a previous relationship with another lady in Texas that did not end well. So this man allegedly had been in town since November of 2022. Ooh. This multimillionaire who boasts about his lavish lifestyle fluffs our ex-friend's head up. By the way, I told you guys earlier that the ex-friend, when we got to Texas after a while, started talking about building a compound. Do you know what this man also wanted to build, surprisingly? A compound. Oh my gosh. So we were told by our—
No, not a compound. Also, I mean, they do in movies and TV. Like in a fake world, they win. In the real world, no. And the reason that you don't is because you have to understand all aspects of the law, the court system, all that shit to really be able to like defend yourself and represent yourself. Because you have to be able to understand like who you can call as witnesses, because you can't just call anyone. Like it's just shit like that where you can't just call anyone without letting people know. Like there's so much about the US court system that you would not want to represent yourself. The reason you don't represent yourself, and the reason we get very upset, especially when people are wrongfully convicted because they're represented by like a public defender who didn't really do their job, is because of all the knowledge that one must have in order to help get you off of said charge, right? There's a lot of it. And fun fact, a large majority of lawyers don't remember all of this shit. They have to go back and like look it up. Like that's a big part of lawyering. It's like research, which is why I was like, no, I don't want a lawyer. I want to be in court doing like court things, being like, Your Honor, I object. I'm too hot for this shit. But like, I don't want to do research. It's boring. I can't. I feel like no one actually in real life like wins without actual representation of somebody who can navigate the court system, because otherwise the other side can do shit and you have no idea how to defend against it or whether or not they can do it. You have no idea how to object against it because you don't know the laws. So yeah, that's wild. And I call like massive bullshit on all of that. Again, I am a Texas resident. I could go look this up if I felt like it. I don't, because I have to pee, so we have 10 more minutes before I go.
Our ex-friend that this man had no furniture inside of his house except for one thing. And the one piece of furniture that was inside of that house was a bed. And in that bed, whenever she would go over there, which she spent a lot of time at his house, she would literally have to run to him. I'll get back to that in a second. She told us that whenever she went over there, it would be him, the daughter, and her all sitting in the bed and watching movies together. Is that not creepy and weird? Having daddy-daughter time, as he likes to call it. Oh, and by the way, this house that he lived in, our friend told us that it was only 1,800 square feet, and she laughed about it because she said that was the size of her closet. She has a habit of talking shit about people in the size of their houses. She used to call Vanessa's home, which is like 1,700 square feet, I believe it is. I'm not really sure how big it is. She would call it her tiny home. And bing bong, here is another red flag for all of you. Before all this drama started going down, before we like brought everything to our ex-friend's attention, she had a conversation with Dustin, and she literally told him that this man that she had been with for however many days, I don't even know when this conversation happened, probably like 5 days. She told Dustin that this man, who is 50 years old, was having a conversation with her about a drama channel named Tea Time. So please tell me exactly why this man, who is not on social media in that way, knows of all drama channels, Tea Time. Now, this is very interesting because I watched this man when our ex-friend came inside with him after they got out of the pool. She was trying to have a conversation with him about Jaclyn Hill because, again, remember, she tells everybody about Jaclyn Hill.
I know she does.
Honestly, the look on his face when she was talking about it, I could just tell. He's like, I don't know if this score is worth it. Oh, another red flag. Oh my God.
Listen, I swear to y'all, I feel like when it comes to Jen Gerard, like brand owner, whatever, I feel like at any opportunity, if somebody even says like, she's like Jaclyn Hill, like I feel like she's, that like Jaclyn Hill is her special interest, which fine, I guess, live your life. But like, if anybody says anything, she just like pops up, like a meerkat, prairie dog, you know what I mean? Somebody's like, oh, so Jaclyn Hill, she's like, and if it's positive, she just like goes back into the ground. But if it's negative, she's like, I'm ready to tell my side. That is just like my impersonation of the whole thing. Impersonation. Both things work. Okay.
This is just, you know what? Maybe the bowl was worth it. Maybe I should have smoked that bowl because I just thought of another red flag. So when he came over to the house, we met him twice. He came over and brought his 18-year-old daughter who, this is weird. Oh my God. Another number one, he told our ex-friend that this daughter of his was a barista and that she was going to go back and work at Starbucks because that's just where she wanted to work. She had worked there before. And he told our ex-friend that he was going to reach out to the CEO of Starbucks and he was going to get her a job. And then he said that CEO emailed him back and said she can work at any location that she wants to. Please remember what I said about Starbucks because we're going to get back to that. Do you guys remember how I just said that when our ex-friend would go over to the house that only had the bed in it, it would literally be her, the daughter, and the guy all in the bed sitting together? Well, later that night, so Paige, Gaz, myself, Dustin, we were all sitting outside because we were smoking some marijuana. Now, that's going to come up later as well because the man tried to tell everyone that he witnessed hard and heavy drug use. But we were all sitting outside and the back of that house had huge windows and we were looking over, just looking over like this, looking through the glass to see what was going on inside. When I tell you that daughter was almost sitting on top of his lap, our ex-friend had to sit a few seats down. That's how close she was sitting.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
And then when the daughter finally got up, I guess to go get a drink after she told us there was nothing in our refrigerator that she would ever want to drink. I guess water was just being piss poor for her. The daughter walked back over to the couch.
Do you remember that movie Heartbreakers? Just keep that in mind. Do you remember that movie? It was like Heartbreakers, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I can't remember her name right now. Sydney, you know what I'm talking about.
Couch. And I'm telling you, her stomach, if she would have had like a gut hanging out, would have been touching the back of the couch. That's how close she was, right behind her father and our ex-friend. Creepy. Some of you guys might.
Yes, Sigourney Weaver. All right. The need to urinate has gotten too strong, and I am going to end this tonight. Unless y'all want to go on a break. Like, one, if it's cool if we were like follow up with this maybe sometime tomorrow, or two, if you want to take a break, drop that in the chat. We will see what's going to happen because my bladder is screaming. I've had like all of this water and all of this wine. Like we were like, break. We will take the break over. Okay. I have one for break. Oh, everyone's like, I'm very invested. All right. So let me just like throw on some jams, throw on the break screen of like, we'll be right back. If I have like a break, if I don't have a break screen, it'll just be the starting screen and we'll be right back, which I don't have because apparently I removed those things. So be right back. All right. Hello. All right. I threw it in for like a second and I forgot to loop it because my goodness, the need was so great. I could feel my bladder like screaming for its life. It was like, babes, hello. We know you ignore us for work, but we're not at work and we know that. So, yeah, there's not a lot of places to go to the bathroom when you are delivering mail and packages, to be honest. And that is why I'm grateful for the fact that I have 2 apartment complexes on my route because I get to go twice. Anyways, I'm like, "Hello, how y'all doing? I don't have any mail for you, but I'm using your bathroom." We're gonna at least finish the first hour of this video, and then we'll try to, like, get back into it, hopefully sometime tomorrow whenever I, like, wake up, and I feel like doing makeup again. Listen, I'm so impressed by this. I just wanna show you right quick my inspiration for this, just as an FYI. I got it from this, like, amazing TikTok creator. I know I, like, screenshotted the thing, but I don't ever know how any of my camera stuff works because of who I am as a person, because I don't be paying attention to things, but I saw this and I screenshot it, and if I can find it, and not keep being a weirdo, then it'll be awesome. If I can't find it, then I'm just the biggest weirdo ever on the planet of weirdos. Ah, here she is. This is where I got the inspiration. Oop. This gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Her name on TikTok is Esther Beauty Essentials. I didn't do the lines and whatnot because I didn't want to totally be copying her style, but the blue eyeshadow was I was just like trying to go for like that look. So like I will hold on. Let's see if I can do things. Pocket. Ooh. So like that's where I got the inspiration from. And I was like, I saw it, and I was like, hold on, I think I can do it if I use the Lethal Cosmetics like white wet liner, dry liner, whatever it is. And I think I did it. So like, okay. Let me go backwards. All right, let's get back into this video. We have like 12 minutes left of it for me to like watch. Let's try to do that. At the very least, we're going to get as much invested in this and find a good stopping point. And then we'll try to get back into it manana. And I think I will leave this up. So anyone who actually watched this on the replay, if you made it all the way through like my break and all of that stuff, for the love of all that is good and holy, just drop like a clock emoji in not in the chat, in the what are those things? Comments. There we go. Drop a chat, like a clock emoji in the comments so that I know that like you made it this far, so that I know that it's cool that I have streams this long and you'll rewatch it. Because otherwise I'll just like, put them back and just keep them for the Patreon, then cut it up and put it on here for everybody. So that's where we are. Okay, go.
Remember this? When Paige and Gaz were in town, they brought their children. And of course, the children adored our ex-friend. So much that Paige's daughter, she wanted to get into the kitchen and she wanted to cook a pizza with our ex-friend. The pizzas weren't bad, but it was a like really nice moment for Paige's daughter as well as for our ex-friend, I guess. But when that man got there, our ex-friend said, "Oh my God, you have to try my pizza. Like I just made it. Like please try this, whatever." He, in a raised tone, goes, "I'm not going to try anything right now." And I just remember like sitting there, I was on the couch, Dustin, Paige, and Gaz all heard this as well. And I just remember like kind of like glancing around the room. Everybody was a little taken aback. Even our ex-friend was a little taken aback to where she was like, "Please don't break up with me," which the whole "please don't break up with me" thing is honestly funny to me as well. Because before, during, and after all this drama went down with our ex-friend and this man, 2 of the warehouse employees, honestly the only 2 warehouse employees, were voicing their own concerns, voicing the fact that they had seen their own red flags, not to our ex-friend, but to myself, Dustin, and a few other people. Well, one of the employees said that every morning at work, because this man would be on speakerphone, you guys are going to hear about the speakerphone again in a few minutes. Well, one of these employees told us because this man was on speakerphone every single morning at work, the employee said that our ex-friend would tell them, but also they witnessed hearing this themselves, that this man would break up with her at least 4 times before 10 a.m. So enough of the red flags. Let's get back to the evening that all of this blew up and we brought all this to the attention of our ex-friend. You guys are probably so annoyed at the fact that I'm saying ex-friend like nonstop. Like, please don't start a drinking game behind this because honestly, you will be sloshed. So one of the things, if you have been following this drama or you were paying attention when all this was going on back in September, is that our ex-friend wanted to make it seem like we were demanding all of this information from this man, which was never the case at all. We gave her the information that we had, and the whole time we were letting her know he needs to let you know, for your own safety, for your own concerns, and that he actually is the person that he is telling you. So after my ex-friend had the audacity to think that I would actually come into the kitchen to have a conversation with this man that I'm literally telling her we all think is a con, and thinking that I would ever offer up some kind of apology to him, she texted me and said, "He doesn't owe you proof of anything, and I'm not going to ask him." So I responded,
Just a quick note that if you go back and you see where it says like the mentioning back and forth, like they name themselves the Shady Queens. So again, like if I was somebody who were going to become friends with like Nick and Dustin and all that, like I know who I'm getting into bed with. So I would also know that if I did something to like wrong them, like egregiously, that I should expect this treatment right here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit back and be like, "Oh no, they're gonna be chill," like blah 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 blah. Like, I feel like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So I just, my opinion, I just think that that's true. Okay.
Than I said. Well, then he needs no apology. You're right. He doesn't owe me that. He owes the person that he told it to, which would be her, because she was going around to all of her friends and fluffing this man up. Now, the reason that I'm using the word fluff is because after a few days of us going back and forth about this man is not a CEO and has never been a CEO of any of these companies, he's lying to you about many things, she literally told Dustin, oh, I misspoke. I must have fluffed him up a little bit. Everybody fluffs themselves up. The ex-friend then responded and said,
No.
your heart is in the right place, but your methods are very wrong and have caused a lot of problems. So you're fine if my relationship is ruined? Again, that's manipulative, girl. If your relationship is ruined because your friends voiced some concerns, the concerns that you did not have to run back and immediately tell this man, you could have literally just gone to your bedroom and done the research the same way that you research other people, the same way that you have researched and talked about wanting to get people fired before. You could have gone to your bedroom and you could have done that same thing. But instead, you decided to go and pick up your phone and cry to him about what your mean old friends, their concerns that they had, the lies that they're telling about him. You know what? Just real.
Let me just tell y'all, this is my own personal tea. So back in the olden days when I was with my ex-husband, this is when we were dating, okay? I had a friend. We're going to call him Joe for this, okay? And Joe was with his girl. We're going to call her Maria. And Joe and Maria had been dating. They had this like kind of tumultuous relationship. So one night, we had all been out together, but then we separated for whatever reason. I don't know why. We decided to go to one bar and they were going to go to another. So, me and my ex husband, and obviously, this will tell you how much trauma and bullshit that I live because, like, while all of this horrible shit is happening, like, I like looking at my ex husband, being like, I think I love you. I have trauma. Anyways, the point is that we're all sitting in other bar. Okay. Now, Joe and Maria and some of our other friends had gone somewhere else, but now we're at this other bar and a, a waiter comes over, like a server comes over, and he's like, hi, excuse me, are you Audra? And I'm like, yeah. Why are you asking me this? And he's like, there's somebody in the bathroom asking for you. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on? Right? So, all right, Stephanie, thank you. Listen, everybody's getting sick right now. It's probably the dreaded C, not the cancer, but the other one we can't say. Anyways, so I go into the bathroom. I find Maria in the bathroom crying. Maria proceeds to tell us that Joe has assaulted her physically, like has and we're like, "Oh, snap." So everybody in there is trying to protect her from Joe. We then take her over to our apartment so that she can't deal with him. And I even go outside and talk to them. And they're like, listen, it's not what's happening. I'm like, listen, everybody's drunk. I don't know what's happened. I'm not trying to accept anybody's side right now because honestly, I'm drunk at this point too. Everybody's had something to drink. She then proceeds to hook up with my ex-husband's best friend, well, one of them. We can hear them hooking up. And when she falls pregnant, as people overseas like to say, we're like, "Bro, are you sure?" Because he was our friend before her. And so we were like, but the two of them had reconciled and we're like, okay. But then when she's pregnant, we're like, hey, yo, so listen, you might want to talk to her about that. She proceeds to not want to tell what happened. She keeps acting like she doesn't know what happened, but we knew. At the end of the day, Joe still took her back. there's nothing you can do when people wanna get into this toxic bullshit, but they're always going to try to manipulate the situation, and she kept trying to manipulate the situation as if, she like, I don't think that it was, like, good, obviously, that our friend was, like, trying to hook up with her while she was, like, sad and crying. Bad move on his part. But I will also say the way that she tried to pretend like she didn't know what had happened when the next morning we're all sitting there and she is very obviously sitting on the opposite side of the couch from him, pretending like she doesn't know him until Joe comes to pick her up. So we all know she remembers what happened. She remembers getting her freak on, doing all of the things, and we very much heard consensual ahs happening. So it was very like, but at the end of the day, Joe took her back. I feel like when you're watching the situation, like this is what I feel like is happening here. It's like everybody else in this is like, girl, we can see this man is not good for you, like da 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 da. And she's just like acting like, no, I want this to happen. And I feel like that was the thing that Joe was like, no, I just wanted to get past this situation. She's my girl. I love her. The end. And we were like, okay, dude, whatever you want. Like, we're not gonna really get involved in this. If this is what you want, we're gonna pretend like that's like all the stuff that we know that happened didn't
Talk right now, that
happen.
is so pathetic. The fact that you have had all these people in your life for years that have literally done so much to help you. Some of them have literally saved your life. And in this case, literally we're trying to do it again. The fact that you throw all of them to the curb because you got some piss poor dick for a few days, it's
Yeah.
pathetic. So I responded with, if your relationship is ruined because your friends had concern, that's not my fault. And I will not be apologizing for looking out for you. What you just said came off as manipulation, and I don't appreciate that. Then the ex-friend text that she was leaving and that we needed to take care of her dog. I'll tell you what, I hope that this man enjoyed the chase because she left the house and
Oh, and just a side note, like Joe was my friend before all of this went down. And after this happened, no longer had a friend. I'm just saying it feels like this, not as like pyramid scheming, but it feels like this where I was just like, bruh, why would I lie to you? Like that was the worst part of it. I was like, she just came into your life. Why would I lie to you about what happened? What do I have to gain from that? And that's kind of why when this all started going down, I was like, I can't feel how you want to feel about Nick and Dustin, feel how you want to feel about Paige, but I was just like, I can't fathom a situation where it behooves them and benefits them to lie about her. I know some people be like, well, then they have drama videos. Okay, they have tons of drama videos. Like, no, like not to be rude, but like they can talk about all kinds of different things that happen on YouTube. James Somerton just came back with an apology. Listen, we'll do another live stream about that shit because that was wild. But like, there's a lot of stuff that they can talk about that's not even just in the beauty community. So I'm just saying, if they were your friends, what do they gain by ending their friendship with you, outing all of this on Twitter? And they didn't name you, you ended up naming yourself. What do they gain? And this is always the question I ask in most situations is what does the person stand to gain from this? And it is why, like, I'm very much like believe all women in victim situations because I'm like, what does she stand to gain from it? Because it's not clout. You're not going to get anything good out of it. They're not getting anything good out of outing this brand owner. Like, there's nothing good that they're getting from this. It's not helping. All of this that's gone down, they've lost family. I count pets as family. They've lost family. They have had to pack up and move. I don't feel like there's anything good gained from Nick and Dustin from this situation. Because if, like people were saying, they were having like a great gravy train, why would they not have just pretended like this man was fine and continued with their gravy train? Like, this is why I say, like, follow your thoughts logically, right? So if your logical thought is Nick and Dustin were staying with this brand owner because they had a free gravy train where they didn't have to pay rent, then the next logical step would be there would be zero reason for them to even argue about this piece of shit man. Like, if that's what they wanted, they would just like put up, something on the cameras and continue living for free in her house. That's just like my opinion. That's how like my logical thought works. However yours works, like let me know in the comments and in the chat. Let me know how yours works. But my logical thought process does not contribute, like it can't figure out how, like, okay, because if I'm getting a free gravy train and I just get to live here for free in a nice ass house, and I can just like have to pretend that I put up with your shitty boyfriend, then I'm gonna do that. Especially in this economy, babes. In this economy, baby, rent is so expensive. Listen, I'm gonna pretend like he's fine. And we're like, okay, girl, whatever. And I'm just gonna put like something over the camera so this man can't see us doing whatever. I'm gonna live my life and just like continue having my free gravy train while pretending to get along with your man. So I'm just saying, like, it doesn't seem like they're gaining a lot from this situation. You know what I mean? Like, thank you, Feffy. Feffy. here with here with the love. Saying exactly what I'm saying is like they would have put up with that shit if they cared, if they only cared about living rent free. That's what I'm saying. If you only care about living rent free, you're just gonna put up with a lot of bullshit. Like at the end of the day, you're like, well, I'm not paying the rent. And like that's where it also, like, my logical thought process goes is like, well, I'm not paying the rent, so I just have to put up with it. Instead, they saw the shit going down. They felt threatened and were like, we're gonna just leave. Like, enough is enough. So then my next question goes, if they're such freeloaders, then where did they get the money from to move back to Florida? Because I don't know if y'all know this about Texas, but like, even if they didn't fly and they drove, just driving through Texas, depending on where you are, it's generally 24 hours to drive through Texas, no matter where you are, honestly. It's almost like 24 hours of driving to just get out of Texas. After that, everything's cool. But like a lot of times, just getting out of Texas, if you're driving, is thank you. A lot of times if you're driving through Texas, it's gonna be a very intense situation. So even driving, like that's a big thing for them to have done. So what my question becomes, if they're just freeloaders and they didn't pay for anything, where were they hiding this money? Were they hiding this money from you the whole time they were freeloading so that they could then move and then like cause this drama? Because that's a lot of foresight to have, to be like, we're gonna cause a bunch of drama and we're gonna like then take this money that we've squirreled away, that we've refused to pay you rent for because we plan to do this thing to you, and then we're going to move. Like that's what you're asking me to believe at this point, which doesn't make sense to me. I'm just saying, like, in my brain, that doesn't make sense. Good night, Kiara. Thank you for chilling. Yeah, grew up in DFW. And even just getting groceries was like a trek if you were in a more rural area. Yeah, and I live in a fairly rural area. If I want to get to like my local Ulta, it's going to take me about 20 to 25 minutes just to get to Ulta and Sephora. So like around me, there's a Walmart. If you want to go out to eat, there's like a restaurant. like a sit down restaurant. I'm not talking about like some takeout or some drive through. And drive through, I counted. I think that there's like 9 drive through restaurants by me. Like I'm in a very rural area. So when I tell you that, like, yeah, so I'm just, when I'm using like, because I like to take things to their final conclusion. So what you're asking me to believe for your final conclusion, brand owner, is that Nick and Dustin were freeloading off of you, and they were doing so because eventually they hoped to be able to create the situation to where they would then create drama. And this is also for naysayers, like for people who are like, I don't like Nick and Dustin. I get that, but you still have to like use your logical brain and go, okay, well then this is what you're saying that they did. And then they like just kept all their money to themselves. And then they created this dramatic situation. And then once they created said dramatic situation, proceeded to not name the brand owner when they were like, we're going to leave. And then they used all the money that they had somehow squirreled away, not paying for anything. And then they moved across states for this. Like, that's a lot to do for drama. That's a lot. Like, I'm just saying. I am just saying. Yeah, Janet, multiple Dollar Generals, no Walmart, and the first grocery store is going up now where I live in Texas. And that's the thing that people don't understand about Texas is like, if you don't want to be like, if you want to see the sky and like see the stars at night, you can do that, but you're also giving up a lot. We know that. So like, the math, like Robin's saying, the math is not mathing for that to be the final conclusion. If your final conclusion is that this is what they did, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm just like, that's my mindset. 8 more minutes and this 2.5 hour long live stream that I keep interrupting. All right.
Went immediately back to his house to grovel so he would take her back. Remember I just said that she was trying to say he broke up with me and everyone's going to be happy about that except for me. The manipulation. So you are that pathetic that you had to leave immediately and rush back over to the man that broke up with you, probably for the 10th time that day, because your employees say that it happens a lot before 10 a.m. But I text her right back after she asked us to please take care of her dog, which is something that she did a lot. Keep in mind, this is somebody that said that I isolated her. I literally took care of that dog more than she did. 9 times out of 10 when that dog went outside, it's because she sent us a text message and she would say, Yogi needs to go out. Is somebody able to take him? Because she couldn't be bothered to come out of her room. Now it was fine when that was going on when she broke her ankle because she had to leave the house in an ice storm to go into the office when nothing was operating at all to try to ship orders and pack them. Like you couldn't stay home for 1 extra day and then got mad at us because we did not want to get in our car and drive after she told us that it took her over an hour to get to work when it should take her like 15 minutes. She wants us to put our lives at risk to get in our car to drive to where she is at her office, where she is laying on the ice with a broken ankle, put ourselves in danger, put ourselves at risk because she couldn't sit at home. She seems to like putting people at risk a lot, and she likes to blame people for a lot of shit too. I know it's going to be a little sidetrack rant. She is not good at driving, y'all, at all. The first time that I ever met up with her in California, she had her BMW, and there was a huge gash on the side of it because she took out a fucking curb. So one day she was out driving somewhere, and she hit yet another curb to the point where this time it literally expanded the tire. There was a huge knot on the tire. Tried to blame it on me and Dustin. Tried to accuse us. Admittedly, we did drive her car several times because we have literally a
To be fair, driving in Texas is kind of an event because everything, a lot of the roads are the same color as the sidewalk. I have inadvertently attempted to make a left-hand turn only to find that there was a median. Corrected course. Luckily, it was late night. Was not drinking. Literally was just like, I feel like I wanted Long John Silver's. So don't judge me. Sometimes I just want them little crispy bits. It's so good. The chicken, there's something about the taste of the chicken. I know it's not like real shit. I don't know. Just so good. Anyways, to be fair, driving in Texas is a rough event just generally. It's like this is not a place for the faint of heart, okay? The curbs here are dangerous and nasty. Like everything here is bad. Like, leave me alone. If I could leave, I would. I just can't right now. So unless this suddenly becomes my full-time job, I'm stuck in the state for at least the next 4 or 5 years.
2-seater, and if we had to go get something big or if we were running errands, that's what we would take. Never hit a fucking curb. She then got mad at us because the tire looked like it was going to explode, and we didn't want to drive it to the dealership so it could get checked out. We didn't cause that bump on your tire, and I definitely was not about to put my life at risk with the tire exploding because you don't know how to drive. It's not that hard. You've been doing it for a good long while. You should be able to figure it out by now. Oh, and speaking of cars, let me just tell you about this thing.
That's
if
too
you live
far.
in North Texas, then you know that it's extremely windy all of the time. Like that is one of the windiest places that I've
Well,
ever been to.
not
in my
all
life.
the time.
Well, after the house fire, obviously our ex-friend has 2 cars. She has the Escalade, but she also has a BMW. She parks the BMW at her office, all alone in the parking lot. On days where there were high winds, something got picked up and smacked into her windshield and created a very tiny crack that over time started to go across the whole window. Now, we had not been driving the car at this time. Blamed us, got mad at us, kept bringing up to us that she has to get a new windshield, she has to pay for it and all this. Okay, that's what car ownership is. Things happen to your car. You just don't get to blame people for it happening. You guys are going to be shocked right now.
Girl, Safe Light. Is that what they're called? Here's the thing. North Texas is super windy. And the reason that it is windy is because it's flat. And it's very, very windy during spring and winter, like fall, spring, winter, like summer. It's not, there's no wind. The time when we need wind, when it's 118 degrees and we desperately need it, we get zero wind. But in the winter, like everything's flat and we keep like raising everything. So wherever there were trees, every time they build a new neighborhood or whatever, they take everything down. Like everything. So there's nothing to block, like all the natural blockers of wind don't exist. Like at all. Okay.
As I was sitting here looking through my notes, another red flag appeared. I know, it's crazy. As you guys know, I told you that our ex-friend was the one that taught us how to use a website called Truthfinder, as well as a few other websites that are similar to Truthfinder. And trust me, she has a very long history of looking up people for other people as well. When Dustin pulled the background report for this guy after our ex-friend gave us literally all of his information to look him up, he looked him up on September 14th. The day that we brought this to the attention of our ex-friend was September 16th. So there was about 48 hours between the time that Dustin actually looked him up, because he looked him up in the morning, to when we actually brought all this to the attention of our ex-friend. Well, the reason that this is a red flag is because when our ex-friend went into her bedroom, called this man up, and he was giving her all this information, giving her this spiel, telling her to text us things, all that kind of stuff, she actually did type his name into Truthfinder. And would you guys be shocked to know that all of a sudden, none of his information was showing up? So after she told me that it was not working for her, she could not find his information, she wanted to know how we pulled it up. I said to her, I'm not that familiar with the website, so I don't know how long it would take. She let me know it'd be 5 to 7 days to actually have someone's stuff removed from one of those websites. Well, because of everything else that had been going on, I decided to actually Google how long Truthfinder and those websites take to remove people's information when they actually request it. Interesting enough, 48 hours. Now, this is just speculation on my part, but with as fast as she ran back into her bedroom to alert this man of the concerns that her friends were having about him, and the fact that when this man was trying to tell his bullshit ass story about their
48
budding
hours.
relationship for 17 days, he said that their relationship was built on openness and honesty, among a few other things. So what I'm saying is, I would not be surprised if our ex-friend, after she gave us all of his information to look him up, decided that she was going to be open and honest with him and let him know. It's almost like he gave him a heads up. But then what makes it even more crazy is that at a later time, our ex-friend said that he sent her a screenshot of an email that he sent to Truthfinder and all these websites in March of 2023 to have his information removed. Now, I don't know about y'all, that's not 5 to 7 days, and that's definitely not 48 hours. So if he reached out to them in March of 2023 to have it removed, why was Dustin able to find it? Why was it all of a sudden gone? Anyways, getting back to when our ex-friend ran immediately back over to the man that just broke up to his house to grovel so she could try to get him back. She kept trying to contact Rose.
And just right quick, I wanted to some of these stories sound like friends that live together far too long. Ugly accusations. Yes. I will 100% say yes. I will also say that some of this is probably like backstory to explain all of the things as to why we're here today. You know what I mean? Like anytime you tell a story about like why a relationship fell apart, you're going to want to go like, okay, so this may not seem to you like information, but I'm trying to explain exactly where everything came apart. Like I could tell you like a friendship of mine that ended. I very much was aware that like, this is not going well because we had become more and more distant as friends. I felt like they were like crying all the time about their job, and it just became like kind of like a little bit uncomfortable because I was like, babes, you live in a place where you can get like healthcare and all of these things. Like, I'm in America. What is your problem? Like, do something because I literally can't handle handle this like every day. Like, you get some therapy or whatever you need to do. And then when everything falls apart, it's like I'm going to tell you all of this stuff and you're going to be like, it seems like, your friendship was falling apart. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. That's why I'm telling you all of this. But yes, I do feel like some of this is like slightly unnecessary, but also it gives context to the entirety of where we are with all of this shit today. Okay.
Rosalie, who used to be her best friend. And Rosalie told her, I just want to talk to you. I only want to talk to my friend. I don't want to talk to you and have anybody around. I definitely don't want to talk to you and have that man around. So the ex-friend tells Rosalie, okay, when I get there, if he doesn't let me in the house, I will call you when I get back in the car. So you know the call that Rosalie got after she told her that she did not want to talk to this man because this man, in her opinion, was abusive and in her opinion, was someone to be concerned about? Rosalie got a phone call from the ex-friend, but also her man. And instead of the ex-friend saying much, she just allowed this man to scream at her friend on the phone. You want to talk about crossing a boundary? If that's not crossing a boundary, your friend, who at the time you considered your best friend, told you they did not want to speak to this man because he made them uncomfortable. They thought that he was a con man. They thought that he was dangerous, and they were concerned for your well-being, and they just wanted to talk to their friend. So the first thing that you do is call them with him so he can scream. So we brought all this information to our ex-friend on September 16th. On September 17th at 12:56 a.m., I sent a text message to her. This is after the blow up at the house. This is after she tried to get me to apologize to that man. This is after she allowed him to scream at her best friend on the phone for God knows how long, which she seemed to be very concerned in text that I was actually listening to this phone call to hear this man. As I said, I sent her a text on Sunday, September 17th at 12:56 a.m. It says, we will be working on getting our stuff moved out of the house and work on getting you paid the money we owe. This has become a toxic living arrangement, and we think it's best just to part ways. Have a great night. I'm not exactly sure why she ignored that message completely and did not say anything about what I had to say. Maybe she just thought that I was like in a heated moment and I didn't actually mean that. But girl, trust and believe, before I even sent the text message, I was telling Dustin, I was telling Paige, I was telling Vanessa, I was telling Gaz, I was telling Julie, I was telling Rosalie, I was telling everyone, we are getting the out of here. This is not a safe situation. So all throughout the day on the 17th, Dustin and I were packing our stuff, figuring out where we were going to go, how we were going to do this, and how we were going to do it in such a short amount of time. This started on the 16th of September. Dustin and I were out of that house on September 20th. We left all of our furniture. All of our furniture went to the 2 employees that I told you about earlier that were
Yeah, it went black. The screen went black and I couldn't figure out why, and it wasn't me, but I don't know if it just was something on their end or if it's just me. So my bad.
worked in the warehouse, it went to their house. But trust me, it was not an easy feat for them to be able to get it. The brand owner was trying to like hold it up in the house saying, I don't want strangers in my house. You have to like schedule it with me. Was honestly not making any kind of movement to try to help her employees who actually really needed the bed that I was giving them. The employee literally needed that bed. Apparently the ceiling in her room came down and completely destroyed the other bed set that she had. So the fact that this brand owner was trying to make it difficult, knowing that is a little fucked up. Like you can dislike me and all that, but your employee literally needed a bed. And then you tried to convince this employee that the bed smelled like piss. Remember that? But almost in the same breath, you asked her to put sheets on the bed. So to me, if you're trying to get sheets put on the bed, that's kind of giving that you were trying to keep the bed. And it's kind of given that you were saying it smelled like piss because you didn't want her to take it. It's giving weird. Now let's move on to September 18th.
It's
September
giving
18th
weird.
is the morning that I woke up. Literally woke up at 9 something in the morning, looked at my phone, noticed that I had a text message from a random number that I obviously did not know. And our ex-friend was also attached to that text thread. So I opened it up and it was a fucking book, y'all. It was such a long text message. Well, lo and behold, it was the man that I told the ex-friend made me uncomfortable. She literally gave my personal phone number to someone that I told her I thought was dangerous. That's alarming. So after I read that message, I obviously did not respond. The brand owner at that time, myself and Dustin, we were not on speaking terms. And especially after this bullshit ass message that I received, it was completely axed off. I blocked her on social media. She said that we blocked her because we were trying to like subtweet her and we wanted to run with our narrative. And that's why we were doing it. No, I blocked you because you're a psycho. I blocked you because you were on Twitter trying to make up lies saying that I was a deadbeat. You were telling people behind the scenes that I was abusive to Dustin. We're going to get to that in a minute. But anyway, since obviously I was not responding to that bullshit ass text message, I went to Twitter and I said this. It sucks to see someone you care about get manipulated to the point that boyfriend sends you a threatening message about karma. Let me just read you a little excerpt from that message that had me tweeting that. I am so sorry for what you endured in life and for the challenges that Nick and Dustin had to deal with also. We all know what abuse, fear, hiding, etc. feels like. We all experienced it. It's unkind to do to others. Karma is real. It always returns with interest. Thank you for everything, for the kindness towards my daughter and I, for hosting us at your beautiful home. No relationship is possible under these circumstances. The last 2 days have been terrible for my daughter, you and I. People that know what suffering truly is will never do that to others. People that live in glass houses don't throw stones. People that don't pay their bills, taxes, etc. don't get to judge anyone, especially those that work hard every day to put a smile on the faces of others. I will post a series of videos about my journey and my experience. One will be about what transpired over the last few days. Thank you. You are an amazing person. Now, there's a few things I want to pick apart about this message. One, he tried to say that we did not pay our taxes. First of all, I don't know why you're worried about my taxes. Maybe you should worry a little bit more about your own, especially your girlfriend's taxes, because her employee was sending out an image of a comptroller coming to her business door looking for her. So later on September 18th, the ex-friend texted me and she let me know that this is unnecessary.
Good night,
and she sent me a
Robin,
screenshot
or
of my
morning.
tweet. So I decided that I was going to respond to her and I was going to let her know what actually was unnecessary. It's unnecessary that a man that I said made me nervous and uncomfortable because I feel he's dangerous sent me a threatening text message this morning with personal info about us. I told you numerous times we are exiting the situation because it has become unsafe. We do not know that man or what he is capable of other than what his current court situation is. I told you yesterday I am more than happy to keep this amicable as I have with D, and you know how bad that situation was. Instead, you have tried to force us to meet and talk to a man who I've said numerous times makes us feel uncomfortable and makes us feel unsafe. I am more than happy to have a conversation with Jen about anything regarding us leaving here and any money owed. I have no interest in speaking about or to a man who has now threatened karma against Dustin and myself. So now I want to talk about setups because there were a few of them that were going on during this whole entire time. I genuinely do believe Dustin believes this as well, and everybody else that was a witness to what was going on. We wholeheartedly.
Okay. Y'all right. It's like 2 hours, 34. So the next thing we're going to be getting into is the karma situation. I can probably do like 10 to 15 more minutes of this video, and we're going to have to find us a little stopping point and then come back in because, baby Jesus, this is so intense. Like, this is so much stuff. When you listen, my one of my greatest faults is that when I don't like someone, I am unfortunately gleeful at their downfall. Listen, it's who I am as a person. I have to admit that. Okay. It's when I was talking about earlier, at the very beginning of this, when I was saying like that's why I unsubscribe from all the drama channels. It's because like I didn't like the person that I became when I was like, I don't like these people. And I'm so happy that bad things are happening to them. And I was like, baby, that's not good for your spirit. You're gonna have to. You can't just be mad at people because like some of these things are manipulation, right? So I unsubscribe from every drama channel. However, I'm still very happy that this is happening because I like I said, I've had sus feelings about this creator pre-demi or around lockdown. So team gleefully too. I just can't help it. Yeah, there's a weird interpretation of karma, like etc. I think what I'll do for this evening is we're like, or really it's this morning at this point. It's like it's just this morning. Oop. There we go. It's just this morning. But I think one of the things I'm going to do is why are you misbehaving? There we go. Is we're going to take like a little, not like a break, but we're going to come back to this, like I'm hoping tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow, because this stream alone is longer than the video that he did. Hopefully, again, Nick, please don't like copyright strike me or whatever. I'd prefer you not do that. I'm just like responding to it. I feel like this is transformative. But I'm like, I feel like it's transformative. What do I know? I'm just a low tier YouTuber, just doing my business whenever I feel like it, because I have to work my 9 to 5 job, which is it's not a good time, but I have to do it anyway. My back always hurts and my feet are in pain, and I'm about to have to buy more pairs of boots so that my feet don't hurt all the time. But I will say that so far, with all of the information that has been presented to moi at this point in time, even though I have said I am in fact biased against the brand owner, I am still biased against the brand owner. It doesn't look good. I felt like this when I saw it come out on Twitter. I was like, this isn't looking good for you, sis, because they kept coming with receipts. And then again, when I saw it showing up in BGC, I was like, babes, this is not looking good for you, because like you're over here. And again, you can definitely tell the two different audiences if you were able to see it happening like live time, because Twitter is very much like, most people were on Nick's side, Nick and Dustin's side on Twitter, but then you went into the BGC Reddit thread and a lot more people were on Jen's side. And I really, again, think it's because like a lot of people just see like a white woman being sad and they're like, oh my God, it's obviously like they're being mean bullies. And again, I get it. If you don't like Nick and Dustin, that's fine. But if you had like just scooted over to the Twitter for like just a second, just like a moment to see what was happening, you really would have seen the screenshots. And I think that it would have changed how you felt about this and how you felt about that brand owner as a person. Because again, at 0 point did I ever see a screenshot from her or anything like negating what was said. Like she would be like, they didn't pay rent and they were just freeloading. And then they would send screenshots showing like agreements that had been made and payments that had been made. And then she didn't negate those. So to me, I'm just like, you can't call someone a freeloader. You can't say that they didn't pay rent. And then when they give proof, you have nothing to say. You know what I mean? Like there's not a good like, ugh. And you can't be like, well, I have things that I could say, but I'm not, because that's, they're telling everything. So like I guess my overall feeling is like, they're telling everything. What matters now? Like you've literally sat here for years crying about Jaclyn Hill and acting like you couldn't say things when you could. You've been saying them. Like honestly, you've been saying them, just maybe you haven't been saying them out loud to the public, but you've been saying them, as is proven earlier in this video. So I'm just gonna say it is in the morning. I am in Texas. It is 2:04 a.m. I'm going to finish having my cigarette, my cigarette, and I'm going to take a hot shower. I am going to put on the alarm in my home so that nobody breaks in and turns me into a Forensic Files episode. And thank all of you who wildly, there are like 50 or so of y'all here tonight, and I really appreciate it. Oh, Angelic, I'm so sorry. I'm leaving right now. I truly appreciate all y'all who are here. Anybody who watched this on the replay, it's now 2 hours and 40 minutes long. If you made it this far, in the comments, drop a little ghosty, because for some reason those little ghosties bring me joy. And, until next time, I am so pretty, and so are you. Bye.